Hello, you're listening to Game Day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream Sky Sports' big weekend, including Brighton against Arsenal live today. Available with no contract on Now. Just search Now Sports. Here, though, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we are building up to our 12:30 Premier League kickoff. It is imminent. It's 8 minutes away. It's Spurs taking on Newcastle. Now, let's focus a little bit on Newcastle now. Alexander Isak. Stuart Pearce, 11 goals in his last 11 games, 8 in his last 6. Is there a hotter centre-forward in the world than him right now?
Well, it'd probably be fair to say no, there isn't, and especially with Callum Wilson with his permanent sort of injury problems that he's had. Every time that Isak's been missing, they really struggle, having not a ready replacement as such. But him firing well almost goes hand in hand with Newcastle when they're on the up and results are coming. And listen, these goals are absolutely vital for him.
Isn't it? On the up, could he fire them back into the Champions League spots?
Well, put it this way, they're very close to it. I think if they win today, they're only a point off those spaces. It's going to be tight for them. I wouldn't say they're nailed on, but it's going to be tight. But they've certainly got the tools if they keep everyone fit and firing.
OK, well, do you know what, Stuart? It wasn't too long ago, was it, that it was Spurs who were regularly competing for a place in Europe's elite competition? It was Newcastle, in fact, that were languishing at the bottom end of the table. How the roles have reversed under Eddie Howe. Newcastle now, as you say, there's no reason why they couldn't. They are serious contenders to secure continental football for next season. In fact, Spurs are mathematically closer to the relegation zone than they are to the top 4. That's not where they want to be. And to compound the misery, the Geordies are threatening to become one of Spurs' most loathed opponents. They've beaten them 4 times in their last 5 Premier League encounters, although that 4-1 defeat right here last season will have left a bitter taste. Can they atone for that this afternoon? Well, we shall wait and find out, because, as I say, kickoff is imminent here. And with that in mind, as the music builds, atmosphere perhaps a little bit flat, but let's see how this game pans out. I'm going to hand you over now to our commentary team, the former Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Manchester City, West Ham and England player and manager Stuart Pearce. But first, Talksport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London. We are high up in the West Stand at the front of the 5th floor of this now world-renowned arena, famous for its huge golden cockerel away to our right on the top of the biggest one-tiered stand in England. It is a superstructure to host the elite, and the man who is going to be in charge of England's best today attends his first game as the Three Lions manager. And Thomas Tuchel has chosen this one, predicting his first 11 when they take on Albania on the 21st of March is like guessing what the result will be here. 9 England potentials start the game, 12 England qualified players are on the bench. Dominic Solanke and even Archie Gray, Jed Spence will be hoping to catch the eye for Spurs, whilst Lewis Hall and Anthony Gordon and possibly Jacob Murphy, a scorer on his England under-21 debut 7 years ago, might be looking to get some attention before the first squad is named on March the 13th. James Maddison will hope to get back in from the cold by then for country and club. He is on the bench for the 3rd game running for Tottenham. But all that is secondary to the main goal of the afternoon, as the 2 sets of players stomp out onto the playing surface down below us. Tottenham know they need to find a way to start winning, and Newcastle are hell-bent on stopping them. Spurs' form has collapsed like a punctured Zeppelin, weighed down by injury and illness, whilst Newcastle's has gone skywards like the value of a vintage Porsche. However, with Ange Postecoglou's side, you're better off reading the horoscopes if you want to forecast a Spurs score. It hasn't taken Thomas Tuchel long to work out where you need to go if you want the best entertainment in town. Looks like he has picked right. Let's hope he has, and let's hope he picks right in the future as well. We've picked right. We picked Stuart Pearce to be here today. He knows that the entertainment centre of the capital always was the Tottenham High Road, but today it's the Tottenham Hotspur Arena. And it's going to provide goals, isn't it, surely?
You would think so. Certainly the innuendo there. I certainly, in my early 20s, late teens, the Tottenham High Road was the place to be. Pub discos up and down here, the Calvary Club across the road. But there's more entertainment in the ground these days than there is out on the high street, that is for sure. And watching Spurs, it's an exciting prospect. On top of that, Newcastle are on great form, Sam.
Tottenham missing every one of their back four and goalkeeper, apart from Pedro Porro. They start with a rookie between the sticks who's never featured for the first team. His only senior appearance was in the USA with Orlando City and on loan in Denmark 4 years ago. Brandon Austin starts between the sticks. The back four is Pedro Porro, Radu Dragusin, Archie Gray and Jed Spence. Pat Sarr, Lucas Bergvall are the two holders in midfield. Kulusevski is the attacking midfield player, with Brennan Johnson on the right hand side, Timo Werner on the left and Dominic Solanke through the centre. The bench looks like this. It's Alfie Whiteman, Sergi Reguilon, Heung-min Son, Yves Bissouma, Madison Lancashire, Dorrington, Olasisi and Hardy. Four players who have graduated from the Spurs youth setup are on the bench alongside Madison, which is a surprise. Bissouma and Son also catching the eye. Sergi Reguilon, who they hardly ever use. What about Newcastle United? Martin Dubravka is in goal. Still no Nick Pope. Tino Livramento comes in at right back. Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Lewis Hall the back four. Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali and Joel Linton the three-man midfield. Jacob Murphy on the right, Gordon on the left and Isaac up top. Referee is Andy Madley. The VAR is Chris Kavanagh. Also this lunchtime, 8 EFL fixtures, including Blackburn, Burnley, which is on Talksport 2. Later it's Manchester City versus West Ham. Tomorrow, the Sunday session comes from Anfield. And Troy Deeney joins the Monday night game on Talksport this Monday night. You want football? Well, the best of it is live in 2025, only on Talksport. And Stuart Pearce, Tottenham in white shirts with dark shorts, attacking the goal away to our left at the start of the first half. It's the 90s vibe of the claret and dark blue hoops and white shorts of Newcastle attacking the goal away to our right. How do this Spurs defence and rookie goalkeeper repel an attack that has scored 18 goals in their last 6 Premier League games?
Well, they're going to have to certainly deal with the front three of Newcastle. Newcastle, Isaac on outstanding form at the moment, joined by Gordon and Murphy on the flanks. And I think this game certainly is going to be won and lost in the wide areas. Full back against wide players, wingers if you like, is going to have a major outcome to the result today, Sam.
Big problem for Tino Livramento, who has just jinked in past Lucas Bergvall and then collided with a Tottenham Hotspur player. He's got it right in the midriff, and it looks like he has got early damage to that area, which is going to cause him some serious pain. He went past Werner and into Bergvall, and Bergvall just sort of collided into his side. I don't know if he's got a rib injury here, but it was a significant injury because straight away he flagged that he needed treatment, and after playing on initially, the referee, who today is Andy Madley, decided to stop the game straight away, and Kieran Trippier went sprinting down the touchline to get prepared and ready for action should he need to.
Yeah, the one thing they have got, Sam, if this is a real problem for him, it looked as though he just had the stuffing knocked out of him, really. Two players going in opposite directions colliding. The good thing was he wasn't sort of still when he went to the ground. His legs were moving, he was flapping around a little bit. That's normally a good sign that it's not too bad. But what a ready replacement you've got if Trippier's to come on for him.
Yeah, they've already had to make adjustments to that back four today. No Fabian Schär, who's suspended, and it's a welcome return for Sven Botman, his first appearance in 294 days. He actually hasn't even been on the bench yet, but he is back today alongside Dan Burn at the heart of the Newcastle defence. Livramento has come off, had his treatment, he's about to come back on again, and we are back underway here. Remember, Spurs have decided to leave Maddison on the bench today and Bissouma. Ball played out towards the right back area where Murphy is filling in. He gets it upfield to Bergvall, he miscontrols it, but the blonde-haired Swede manages to eventually recover from the ricochet and send it out wide towards the left. Here's Werner teeing up Kulusevski. His low ball is pushed against the shins of Botman, who positions himself in front of the 6-yard box, and it managed to go behind and away for a corner away to our left-hand side. It's 0-0. We've played 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We've had about 40 seconds of action, really.
Yeah, we have. Tottenham, just Werner whipping the, playing short and badly short.
He played it short to Anthony Gordon instead of playing it to Archie Gray, which was his initial and intended target. There was a poor corner given away by Spurs, and they retreat all the way into their own half, and the press is on. A first touch for Brandon Austin with a ball at his feet, and he unloads it quickly to Pedro Porro in the right full-back position. They look to build from the back. Up to Bergvall on halfway, who charges away from Joel Linton, who's making up ground, but Bergvall has managed to retain possession, and he sends it out wide towards Brennan Johnson, then back to Porro's first time cross towards Solanke with a brilliant header into the corner past the goalkeeper, and Newcastle United are breached for the first time in 5 games. It's taken just 3 minutes for Tottenham to get in front. A brilliant ball from the right-hand side. Solanke was waiting, he outmuscled the defender. I think it was Botman who he edged off the ball, and he steered his diving header beyond the goalkeeper Dubravka to give Tottenham an early lead. It's the perfect start for Postecoglou. It's Tottenham 1, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, they foraged brilliantly down the right-hand side. Johnson just laid it back perfectly for a fullback to come on and whip it in first time. The ball was that good. It turned Botman round, facing his own goal. Solanke, good movement, permanently on the move, coming the back of Botman, and with a diving header, put it back where it come from, into the near post. Brilliant, brilliant goal from Tottenham.
And a great start. Tottenham 1, Newcastle United 0. And it's another goal for Dominic Solanke, who has 11 now in 26 games. His 5th goal in his last 8 matches.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. And I'm just looking at Porro here. I was looking at the stats pre-game in the programme. Most crosses in the Premier League. Lucas Digne at Villa, second to him, Porro. Add that one to his stat. 102 crosses. That one the most important.
Lewis Hall at the other end, coming down into the left wing position, tries to get a cross into the box for Newcastle United. It's pushed away by Archie Gray ahead of Brandon Austin, who came out and didn't receive it. And this is a first test for him and the physicality that he can expect in the Premier League, because it's a corner to Newcastle United.
Yeah, and with that corner comes the crowd scene. Isaac, Byrne and another Tonali in and around the goalkeeper. It's an absolute scrum.
Ball delivered in towards that 6-yard box. He comes out and grabs it high above the head of Bergvall, and then runs out towards the edge of the penalty area. A big cheer from the Tottenham crowd to celebrate the fact that Brandon Austin handled that with care. 6 minutes gone. This is Talksport. Tottenham Hotspur already lead by a goal to 0. We did tell you it wasn't going to be 0-0. And they've won it back high up though, Newcastle. And here's Gordon from Guimaraes down the left side of the box into the far corner. It's 1-1. Anthony Gordon scores again. Tottenham appeal for offside, but Gordon is celebrating. He runs away to the corner, and just 2 minutes after Tottenham take the lead, Newcastle peg them back, and Anthony Gordon is on the score sheet again. It's another tear up at Tottenham.
It is. As I say, they're just waiting for the restart, checking a potential certainly come off the hand of Joe Linton. Not meant in any way, shape or form.
It's not deliberate handball.
Not deliberate. So how the rulings change on a weekly basis on that be interesting. But Tottenham playing out from the back very quickly, got caught out on it, and all of a sudden the ball's in the back of the net.
Well, they are checking the VAR, although we haven't got much indication of what they're doing, and there's no big screen analysis telling us, or communication telling us what's going on. Ange Postecoglou doesn't know what's going on. He's standing with his arms to his stride. The goal has been given, so I think they adjudged that the Joel Linton handball was an accidental handball. Was his hand outside his natural silhouette of his body?
It was, but it wasn't banged to his side, but it was in a natural position for me. That was not deliberate handball. He's in real close quarters with Bergvall, and he couldn't move his hand in any way, shape or form. But the one thing you can say, Gordon finished it brilliantly across the goalkeeper. Austin, no chance, 1-1. We thought there would be goals, Sam.
Well, Thomas Tuchel did pick the right place to come and watch his football this afternoon. Dominic Solanke, England centre-forward, has scored for Tottenham, and England winger Anthony Gordon has scored for Newcastle United. There were 2 minutes and 19 seconds between the two goals. We've had 8 minutes, and it's 1-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Well, there'll be two very integral players that you've just mentioned there for England going forward, no doubt. I think two others on top of that will be Hall and Livramento, who look to impress today.
Porro has been what he thinks fouled inside his own half of the field. It's turned back out towards the left. Murphy has won it off Jed Spence. It's won back by Pap Sarr on the edge of the centre circle. It goes back to Pap Sarr from Jed Spence, and Eddie Howe is right on the edge of his touchline. The referee is getting barracked by Postecoglou. Postecoglou's going mental at the fourth official because he believes that Pedro Porro has gone down with a significant injury. He wanted the game stopped. There was no foul given. He thinks it was a foul by Joel Linton. They played on. It looks like a dead leg to me, nothing more than that. But he's citing the previous case, isn't he, of where the game was stopped when Livramento went down, and he's wondering why Andy Madley hasn't done that.
Well, that's the frustration more than anything. It was minimal contact. I think he's clipped him on the outside of the knee. They can be a little bit frustrating in some ways, as I say. You can just tweak the ligament there a little bit, but for purely the fact the referee didn't stop the game, having stopped it for Livramento, and the pressures that the officials are on this day and age, you know, they're supposed to stop for head injuries or serious. I don't ever think either of those two stoppages were serious in the game, Sam.
The ball is on the near side and we're back underway. It's 1-1, an exciting start to the game here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Tottenham have the ball down this left-hand side. It's put out by Botman, and I think he'll be relieved that after getting out-muscled by Dominic Solanke in the early exchanges here, he's managed to see his team recover very quickly, and Gordon's got him out of a hole very quickly.
Having watched the replay of that, Solanke's movement was fantastic. Yeah. He was continually darting in front, behind the player. Botman didn't know where he was going to turn up, and he actually turned up brilliantly at the right time on the back of Botman.
Here he is again, Solanke picking the ball up, trying to send it wide. He slipped as he tried to feed it into Timo Werner, who's on the left-hand side of the Tottenham attack. Tino Livramento brings the ball clear, but runs into Jed Spence, but wins a 50-50 duel. The ball bounces into the midpoint of the Tottenham half, and the tall teenage figure of Archie Gray sends it out towards this near touchline. It's Tottenham 1, Newcastle United 1, live on Talksport, and it's been a thrilling 10 minutes of the game. Spurs haven't won here since November the 3rd, the longest run without a home win since Juan de Ramos was in charge. Newcastle have been in a great place. They hadn't, before the third minute of this game, conceded a goal in the Premier League for a month. Here is Porro bounding his way to the box. Johnson sets it back towards Solanke, whose shot is repelled into the air by Botman. Comes back to Sarr, his right-footed effort straight down the throat from 25 yards from the middle of the D into the path of the goalkeeper Dubravka, who just sits upon it, and it remains 1-1. But I don't think we're going to be short of things to talk about over the course of the next 80 minutes, Stuart Pearce.
You're certainly right. We're 11 minutes on the clock at the moment. The ball's probably for injury, as Benoni in play for maybe 8 minutes of that, and the excitement, the goals, they're coming thick and fast.
Well, again, another complaint from the Tottenham supporters that the decision has gone against their team. Lewis Hall, another one looking to impress Thomas Tuchel, sends the ball out from left back to another England qualified player in Tino Livramento. Back to Bruno Guimaraes, into Isak. Good football this by Newcastle United. Sent on a little bit too heavily by Isak, asking too much of Jacob Murphy, who went scurrying forward in the right channel, looking to get up towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Brandon Austin. But here comes the Newcastle press, putting Dragusin under pressure. He's got nowhere to go, and Isak goes across and gets something on the ball, and eventually eventually Dragusin gets a little bit lucky with his outball towards Archie Gray, who launches it upfield, and Hall's got a problem holding off Solanke. He's done that, and then it goes back towards to Botman. Was there a foul there or offside?
Handball by Solanke.
Handball by
As
Solanke.
I say, the ball was up at chest height. He's just helped it on slightly with his arm. The referee's picked up on that. At that stage, Newcastle had dealt with any problems anyway.
Nice of Dragusin to make it nice and comfortable for his new goalkeeper, by the way, at the other end, Stuart.
It certainly was. As I say, they overdo it. You can smell the danger. The only ones who can't is the ones in the white shirts in the back line.
Yeah, it's almost as if you just want to test to see if they haven't lost their sense of smell, isn't it? Because they don't seem to realise that it's coming. And Newcastle's press is always aggressive, and it's most intense over the last 5 or 6 games. 1-1 the score here.
Yeah, if Newcastle haven't worked on pressing hard from the front, I'll be astounded. They obviously have. Just looking at Botman, he's panicked on a couple of occasions, been found out by Solanke for the goal slightly, which is harsh on him, but good movement. And a couple of times balls into the channel, he's just panicked a little bit. Maybe it's that game sharpness, Sam.
Well, he hasn't played for 294 days.
Yeah,
so
it's a long time out.
It is a very long time out, but he is an accomplished defender, and he will have a bit of ring rustiness. And Newcastle have the ball on their back line with Dan Burn, who works it wide towards the left. Collected now by Lewis Hall. Both these two teams have got big matches this week, huge fixtures. 3 huge competitions, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup semi-finals, and of course this in the Premier League. Joel Linton has taken the ball down into the left wing position and then put it straight out of play when he tried to play backwards. Newcastle, if they have had troubles though, they have come largely in London. The last goal they conceded was on their last trip to the capital, and they've conceded here today after 14 minutes. Pedro Porro just outwitting Bruno Guimaraes, who slipped over. The ball then cannons against Anthony Gordon and spirals into the front of the post. There's a collision between Joel Linton and Lucas Bergvall. Bergvall is claiming he's got a whack on the back of the head. Joel Linton is pleading his innocence, and Andy Madley has gone over to try and sort out the confrontation.
Oh, yeah, he's just given him a little rogue elbow there. Bergvall sort of stepped across his line slightly, or put the brakes on to spin, and he's just copped for an elbow on the back of the head.
It was a little tussle, wasn't it, between Joel Linton and Lucas Bergvall, the screen. I wonder whether VAR might look at that as possible violent conduct. Oh, thrown straight to Joel Linton by Pedro Porro, then picked up by Gordon. There was a foul from behind there by Dragusin, who's a rash challenge on Alexander Isak. That's going to be a free kick 10 yards outside the box.
You know what, some of the best games I see is when the referee doesn't pick up on little things and just keeps the game rolling. I think there was a situation there. I'd be disappointed if I was Dragusin there. He's come through the player slightly, but he's took the ball. For me, it's play on.
Can't we go back to the old days when we didn't have as much scrutiny on all of the decisions and we just let the game flow?
Even so, modern day games, sometimes the referee lets it go and the players pick up on that and they know not to go down to the ground cheaply.
Here is the free kick for Newcastle, wide on the left hand side. Porro and Isak have been caught confronting one another. The referee's going to have to sort that out. Pedro Porro has thrown himself to the floor. Dan Burn has gone over to intervene. We still await the free kick, which is taking place 8 yards outside the penalty area, wide on the left, with the wispy Gordon with his right foot looking to swing it in on maybe an outswinger from Lewis Hall. It is going to be Gordon, the in-swinger, to the back post. Brandon Austin comes out and claims again. Good hands. And then he bowls it out towards the near side looking for Kulusevski. Couldn't find him, and it comes back via Livramento down the Newcastle right. He quickly speeds up into the right wing position, then loses control because he took his eye off it. It deflects off Jed Spence and goes out for a throw-in fortuitously for Newcastle United. 17 gone, Stuart. It's 1-1.
Yeah, I was just looking at that free kick that was coming in. I'm looking across the back line of Tottenham, and I'm thinking, where's your dominant headers in there? You know, Gray, you've got Gray, Spence, Bergvall, Johnson in the line, Werner in the line. None of them you look at, even the likes of Dragusin, you know, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are on the sick bed, I'm afraid, and that's been a problem for Tottenham for a while as Dan Burn rather agriculturally brings down Dominic Solanke and earns himself a yellow card, breaking up a promising attack as they look to charge up the field at quick pace there, Tottenham Hotspur. Solanke stopped in his tracks by Burn. That's a yellow card.
Yeah, poor challenge by Burn. No need for that. In the centre circle, nothing to be gained by it. Recovering defenders, and he's put himself under a touch of pressure now. This game's just being broken up a little bit by silly fouls and players going to ground a little bit. Just need it to flow a little bit.
Yeah, don't ruin it. Tottenham certainly have had a lot of injuries and illness, and that should be taken into account, but it has been the unwillingness of the manager to adapt his approach that has sent a bit of finger pointing in his direction. He needs a result here today against a Newcastle side that are in fine form. They've won each of the last 4 Premier League games, thrashing Leicester and Ipswich and beating Manchester United rather easily, and Aston Villa in recent weeks where they've benefited from a sending off. But they've already come from behind here to level things up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's 1-1, and it was never going to be 0-0, was it? Tottenham have gone 100 Premier League matches without a goalless draw, going back to April 2022.
I think when you look and decode the game, Sam, up to now, Tottenham have worked really hard for their goal, got a really good goal, that you couldn't really blame any of the Newcastle players. And Newcastle have got a goal through Tottenham playing out from the back and getting loose. And as I say that, Botman has nearly given it away to Werner at the back.
And he's just overstruck the ball, so it dribbles out and away for a throw-in in the right full-back position. Notts County leads Swindon in League 2 by a 1-0. There are quite a few games that are going on today. There was supposed to be another one in League 2. Cheltenham and Walsall went last night, and Notts County, beaten by Walsall on Wednesday, ended a run of 3 successive wins, are in front against Ian Holloway's team in League 2. In the Championship, still nil between Blackburn and Burnley over on Talksport 2, and all the other games that kicked off at Stoke, at Swansea, at Burton and Cambridge are all goalless. Here's Kulusevski. This one ain't. He's down the right-hand side, trying to feed the ball into Solanke, who just peeled off from the defender on the edge of the 6-yard box. It deflects and goes behind and away for a corner over on the far side to Tottenham Hotspur. I think it's 102 corners now, from which Newcastle have only conceded once. They're pretty good at defending these situations.
Yeah, when you look at the ranks with the likes of Burn in there and Botman, and Joe Linton's not shy in the air, and as I say, they've got some good height and good prowess in that back line.
Corner to be taken over on the far side, and it will be Porro who delivers it, right-footed, an outswinger which is dealt with by Isak. Good header away, and then Gray nods it forward. It's going to be a scramble in midfield. Bergvall heads it back. It's Murphy who's going to pick it up, and he just hoists that into the, well, almost the second tier of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's east stand opposite us. I think Majestic was suggesting that there would be a few empty seats here today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and just looking around, there are a few empty seats, quite a few of them, just dotted around in home areas today. There's some behind the goal away to our right, that huge one-tiered stand that goes right up into the afternoon sky. Here is Guimaraes on to Isak, now on to Gordon again, down the left channel. This time Austin makes a save at the near post. It wasn't the greatest finish from Gordon, but it was the same combination again, working the ball out to Gordon over on that left channel, and he darted into the box and managed to get his shot away.
Yeah, once again Spurs spread to play as normal, as you would expect, but if you do give the ball away, you are vulnerable. It was Solanke, and credit to Botman, done extremely well there, very close to him, and Gordon just fluffed his lines on that occasion. 1-1
the score, 21 minutes of thrilling football played here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Hand in the air, ready for a right-footed in-swinger. Goalkeeper's done well so far. Didn't get there this time. He did get there this time. He got above Botman, who was fouling him, and the free kick is given in his direction.
Once again, the referee can't do right for doing wrong. He give the foul with a potential challenge on Austin, and the crowd not happy because they thought they had a break on.
Well, it's been breathless, hasn't it? And it remains 1-1.
Yeah, there's always something to talk around.
Ball cleared up over the halfway line by Austin, into the chest of Werner. Infield it goes to Spence. Spence looks up, Tries to nudge it down the touchline. It's blocked by Livramento. Good touch out towards Murphy. Murphy then returns it to Livramento. He went to help it on, but then was fouled by Kulusevski. That's going to be a free kick 13 yards inside opposition territory. Wide on the right-hand side. It's another set piece for Newcastle United, who racked up 22 shots against Villa on Boxing Day, 12 against Manchester United. Have already had a couple here today and have already breached the Tottenham defence. The Tottenham defence, well, it's about as robust as a filter on social media. Almost lets everything through. Ange Postecoglou's team now shipped 16 goals in their past 4 games and 22.5 minutes in all competitions at home. Here is Anthony Gordon on this right-hand side. There's a line of Newcastle jerseys about 5 yards outside the box being held up by Tottenham. It's got a high line from Tottenham. It's dripped in towards the edge of the penalty area. It's headed away by Gray. Comes out to Livramento. Livramento plays it down the right. Murphy with a cross, feeding the ball towards the back post. It was a good idea, but there was no one to get on the end of it. And it went out of play just narrowly, despite Tonali's best efforts at the far post.
Yeah, as I say, Murphy's come onto it pretty well. He's hit it first time, but you've just got to take some pace off it and just curl it so it's coming back towards the defenders running into their own goal. Just put too much on it, too straight, out of play.
The idea was right, execution not perfect, and it's 1-1. Short goal kick being taken here. Newcastle with 2 players on the edge of the penalty area ready to press. Austin sends it upfield. Botman collides with Solanke. It's chested down, but Botman is there to win it back with Tonali. On halfway, Murphy tries to skip past the challenge, manages to succeed. Livramento gets it back to Botman, and Botman does well to get beyond Sarr and then collides with Sarr, and he grabs immediately that knee, and the last thing he wants is another knee injury. That's what kept him out for nearly 300 days.
Yeah, you can tell he's just not at it, is he? As in, you know, up to speed on match play at the moment, and this game will be invaluable for him.
Yeah, especially with the big fixtures that they've got to come over the next week. They've got a huge game against Arsenal live on Talksport in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. That's Tuesday night. Join us for that one. Wednesday night, Tottenham against Liverpool in the same competition. Here is Livramento, played in down the right-hand side, looking to get the better of Jed Spence. Tries to get it into the box, and then it pops up towards the goalkeeper, Brandon Austin. Was there a little touch there by Archie Gray? It was picked up by the goalkeeper. The referee's allowed it to continue. Was there a handball here on the halfway line? Yes, there was. That's going to be given as a foul for Tottenham. Dan Burn did seem to handball it, and he's already been booked, which means that the Tottenham fans are kicking off, but the Newcastle fans were kicking off before that because the goalkeeper picked up a back pass.
Well, there was a couple of things there, as you say. It was Gray who just stopped the back pass, and the goalie didn't know for an instant whether to pick it up or not. He decided to pick up. Referee said play on. Dan Burn with a booking already.
Oh, this might come through to Solanke here. Burn comes across and manages to hoist it out to the far side, down by Gordon. Gordon on the touchline. And then it's away over on the far side by Pedro Porro and out for a throw-in to Newcastle United. It's 1-1 on Talksport. Tottenham, who have scored more Premier League goals in the opening 15 minutes than any other team this season, have done so again today. They've also conceded one, which means we are perfectly set up here on this cold and chilly, wintry January afternoon in North London.
Yeah, I think the game at the moment, 1 or 2 players have just dawdled on the ball or took risks on the ball for both teams, I've got to say.
Well, Brandon Austin's come out into the right fullback position to clear. One of the most convincing of clearances, actually. Went straight out of play over on the far side, and it's quickly in for a throw, which is taken and given to Isak. Isak on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Joel Linton. Space for Gordon on the left-hand side, immediately shut down by Brennan Johnson. Back in field it goes to Tonali. Tonali across to Sven Botman. Botman to Livramento. Werner comes back out. Murphy skips inside past Jed Spence, then goes to take on Kulusevski, who does enough to get something on the ball. Spence then tries to bring it clear for Tottenham, but he's being engaged by Murphy and Guimaraes, and it's a real tactical game of cat and mouse at the moment because both teams love to high press and put pressure on the ball.
Yeah, Newcastle have just gone man for man, basically. When Spurs have got the ball at the back, they've gone man for man, said, OK, your goalie will be your spare man, but we're coming to press.
Here is Gordon, lovely ball into Isaac, then on to Bruno Guimaraes, further wide onto Joel Linton, down by the corner flag, looks to go round the outside of Pedro Porro, who quite happily commits to giving away a corner. There's a few boos for Joel Linton. He gives a little wry smile to those behind the goal away to our right hand side as he sets up another set piece opportunity for Newcastle as they have a corner over on the far side.
I've got to say, I enjoy his personality, Joe Linton, as a player. I've never met him, but I like his personality on a football pitch.
Corner goes short to Murphy and then to Gordon, who's 10 yards outside the box. He tries to get it into the area. It's picked up off the ricochet by Werner, and he charges forward for Tottenham right down the middle of the pitch. Gordon does his defensive work well, and Livramento comes across on the cover to push the ball out on the near side. 28 minutes gone. It's 1-1. Sarr out towards Pedro Porro, 30 yards from goal, strikes it towards the top corner. It's overhit and it goes away out on our left. Bristol Rovers have taken the lead against Cambridge in League One. Bristol Rovers under Inigo Calderon now, and Cambridge are struggling a little bit. They've lost each of their last 4 league games. They're behind at home to Bristol Rovers. You're listening to Talksport. It's Tottenham 1, Newcastle 1 with Sky Sports, and don't forget you can stream the Sky Sports big weekend, including Brighton versus Arsenal live today, available with no contract on now. Search Now Sports. Ball up to Joel Linton from the goal kick. Long goal kick from Dubravka. He holds it up well, Joel Linton, and plays it out to the left. It goes deep to Byrne, and then just in front of the centre circle inside his own half is Botman. Botman back to Bruno, and Bruno Guimaraes all the way to the goalkeeper.
I'll tell you what, both teams have got a centre forward that are quite happy to go chasing defenders down, and that gives the team real impetus to get on the front foot and start pressing. Solanke very good, and I'm sure he's impressed so far the New England manager in the stands.
Here is Murphy inside the centre circle. The bodies are all overloaded on the left-hand side in Newcastle's favour, and Tonali has fed Isaac. Isaac now cuts into the penalty area. Little back heel which didn't quite come off, and then it's cleared away by Bergvall. And Byrne wrestling with Solanke, wins the challenge, wins the ball, and gets Newcastle back on it again. Tottenham desperate to get up the pitch and try and squeeze up to the halfway line, but Newcastle won't let them do that. They have the ball going down the left again with Tonali. Back into Lewis Hall. Tonali once again receives it, holds it, distributes it back into the middle, and Bruno Guimaraes. Then on to Botman. Livramento wants it played wide, right on the touch on this near side. A first time pass into Murphy. The back heel to Livramento creates space. He gets into the box, tries to run down the outside, and then runs into traffic, and Jed Spence just shepherds it behind, and it goes out for a corner kick to Newcastle on this near side. Half an hour gone. You can't take your eyes off it. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Tino Livramento there, just holding his arms out to his teammates, saying, well, I didn't have an option. I think, and it's happened a couple of times with him, I think when you get on the ball, you've got to make something happen yourself. He's bursted into the box. You've got to have an idea in your mind what you want to achieve at that stage.
Here's the corner on the near side to be taken by Lewis Hall. Before he can do so, Alexander Isak is being reprimanded by referee Andy Madley, and he's having a few discussions with the Swede, as once again they look to crowd out Brandon Austin, the rookie Spurs goalkeeper, 25 years of age, but never made a senior appearance in England before today. As this corner comes in, he's having to fight for it, and Dragusan decided that the best course of action there was if you're going to wrestle in front of our goalkeeper, I'm going to wrestle you back. And he just basically picked up Dan Burn, not an easy thing to do, and chucked him in the back of the net.
Sam, if there's not a free kick of some description or an infringement in that melee, I'm astounded.
Throw-in on this near side. I'll tell you that it's Tottenham 1, Newcastle 1, and for the latest odds you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now Tottenham are 5-2 to win the game, Newcastle 11-10 on, and the draw is 11-4, all thanks to Betfair, who are paying out on winning bets at 90 minutes with the 90-minute guarantee. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Here is Tonali out to the right, and Murphy on to Tonali again, then into Bruno Guimaraes, who tries to feed the ball into Murphy, succeeds. Lovely ball into Isaac. Oh, and he touches it towards the far post and misses by a couple of inches. And Gordon, who wanted it on a plate for him instead, has complained to Isaac that he should have passed it.
Well, I've got to say, I'm not sure you can pass it there. He's right He's just inside the near post as he flashes across. You cannot pass that.
He should have hit the target, shouldn't he?
He certainly should hit the target, it's fair to say. But I've got to say, a touch critical of Murphy's cross earlier. That one was on the money.
Yeah, certainly was. You can see why he has 3 goals and 4 assists in his last 5 league appearances, Jacob Murphy. Another good ball into the box by him. As Tottenham come on the attack down the right, and Brennan Johnson is thwarted by Lewis Hall. It goes out of play, and it's away for a goal kick. Just in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, Stuart, Newcastle have taken control of the game.
Yeah, they look as though they're the stronger of the two. Down this right-hand side, been very good, I've got to say. Murphy got down into advanced areas, and where you want to see Isaac is between the goalposts.
Well, Solanke has won the ball off Byrne after a high press from a goal kick, and they've got it back, Tottenham Hotspur, but very quickly Newcastle have got back into shape. It's come to Bergvall, 10 yards outside the box, right-hand side, cross into the area, away by Botman this time, flicked further clear by Byrne. Out on the edge of the box, Sarr tries to keep it alive. Tonali with a header, comes back to Sarr again, who heads it back towards Byrne. Byrne dabs it down to Joel Linton. He puts his foot on the ball, and now a chance to break. And it's 4-on-4 here. Newcastle steaming forward. They got Gordon to the left. On the right-hand side is Murphy. Isaac is in the middle. Gordon picks it up, sends it down for Bruno Guimaraes, who goes down, but then, well, evades Porro, gets back up. The ball's nudged behind. It's out for a corner.
Yeah, as I say, decent build-up there. You probably needed a quicker player on the ball than Guimaraes. As he run with the ball, it slowed the attack slightly. He was the one who overlapped Gordon, and Gordon probably give him too much credit for being a little bit quicker than he actually was, you know?
Yeah, he just got his body in between the ball and Pedro Porro, and then just took a little nudge and went down, and then put enough pressure on Porro that he forced the corner, which is about to come in from the far side. 34 on the clock, 1-1. This is Talksport. The floodlights on a gloomy afternoon. Right-footed, right under the goalkeeper. This one who comes again and does it really well to punch Brandon Austin under severe pressure. I mean, he was caught in a Botman-Byrne sandwich there, Brandon Austin, and still managed to get something on it.
Yeah, he did, right under the crossbar, that one. As I say, I'm just looking. Yeah, it's probably Botman arriving just late was the one who infringed. Apart from that, everyone's tangoing with each other in the box, to be fair, Sam.
Well, he's had a very good 35 minutes, I think, the goalkeeper, bearing in mind he hasn't played a game of senior football in England ever before. He's 25 years of age, and his last competitive football match was on the 21st of July 2021. Here is Holt. Holt back to Byrne. Byrne back to his goalkeeper, immediately dispatches out to the left where Joel Linton is waiting for it. Bit of space for Joel Linton here, the Brazilian, on the left touchline, gets up to the halfway line quickly. He's got Gordon racing down the left, and he's faster than Porro. He gets there, and Porro has to catch up with him and can't control what he's going to do with it next, so puts it straight out of play.
Yeah, they've roughed the goalie up a little bit. The referee's in a vein at the moment of giving fouls against the goalie. If I was Newcastle, I'd probably just pull out a little bit and make runs rather than the crowd scene that are giving free kicks away.
Well, this time, Dan Byrne still trotting towards that area, right under the goalkeeper. Tonali in there as well. Now they're again crowding that 6-yard box, which has become very heavily congested. And Gordon is going to deliver this ball right-footed into that area. Up goes Bergvall. He heads it clear, and then out comes Austin to try and get hold of it. And he does brilliantly. Byrne had a little kick out there at Brandon Austin, which was a little bit unnecessary. He's got to be a bit careful here, Dan Byrne. Jed Spence being chased by Tonali. Back it goes to Sarr, into Bergvall, bit of space, turns away from Bruno Guimaraes, who can't get back, not got the pace. It's played out to the left-hand side now, and Werner on the attack for Tottenham, into the left-wing position. What a brilliant block from Livramento, who reacted to that cross coming in, stuck his right boot out and steered it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, super play there by the full-back. He's been impressive in these early exchanges. His defensive work as well, when he was left one-on-one slightly earlier, was very good.
Yep, I think he's going to certainly be in the equation with Thomas Tuchel, who is here today. I haven't seen him yet, by the way. I've been scouting around. Producer Sal has had a good look. He's over on the far side, he tells me. He's got wearing a little flat cap. Is it a flat cap or a baseball cap? You know, he loves a cap. Thomas Tuchel. Here is Kulusevski trying to squeeze the ball into the box, defended well by Newcastle, who then look to break quickly. They've got Gordon on the left-hand side. Isak is further up the pitch. He's on a race with Dragusin now. He gets there ahead of Dragusin and then tries to come inside. Dragusin comes across, and I think the ball had already gone out of play by the touchline, and it's away for a throw-in. To Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, apparently wearing a cap today. I wonder if it's an FA cap.
I'm not sure they do them. I think they only give them out to northern managers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like who?
Well, Gareth. He's Harrogate, so they'd give him a flat cap, you know.
Oh, okay.
Honorary northerner.
Sir Gareth, actually, excuse me.
Thank you, yeah.
Here is Tonali, out towards the right. Jacob Murphy into the penalty area, trying to go on the outside. Low ball into the box, comes off Isak and in. And it's 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. It might have been Dragusin who got the final touch, but Isak is complaining. Celebrating over on the far side. Dragusin left punch drunk as he looks up and sees Alexander Isak wheel away in celebration. He's pointing to his body saying he did get something on that, but it's Newcastle United who lead by 2-1, coming from behind to go in front just before half-time.
Yep, super ball there once again by Murphy across the face of the goal. Dragusin got the first touch. It went past him after that first touch, straight onto Isak. And Isak was Johnny on the spot between the goalposts, like all good centre forwards, just to get a sort of bobbly touch over the line.
Well, it comes in from Murphy. It goes through the legs of Spence, past Gray, and then it takes a flick off Dragusin and then Isak almost immediately afterwards and into the corner of the net. No suspicion of offside. It's 2-1 to Newcastle United, and after a great start for Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle took control of this game and now they control the scoreboard.
Yeah, they certainly do. And on this back of this tough run for Tottenham, to go a goal down at this stage won't be good.
Eddie Howe, who doesn't get too excited, will know that that is a crucial goal, especially bearing in mind that Newcastle managed to keep goals out at the other end very often, and in fairness, since the early part of the game, Spurs haven't had too many chances, have they, Stuart?
No, they certainly haven't. As I say, it's been all Newcastle probing in these wide areas. Murphy supplying from the right-hand side, and maybe the odd overlap there, or Gordon going down on the left-hand side.
Is that another assist for Murphy? Ball came in, 1-2 touch, and definitely an Isak goal.
It is an assist from Murphy, definitely, I would say.
And so that's 5 assists in his last 6 league games for Jacob Murphy, who's rocketing up that assist league in the Premier League. He's got some way to go to catch up with Mo Salah. Headed down by Botman on halfway. Newcastle, who after being pegged back in the first 4 minutes of the game, have been in charge of this encounter 5 minutes before half-time, and they lead by 2-1 here. Here is Kulusevski on the near touchline, trying to cut in field, being chased by Livramento. Back to Papsar, now Bergvall, centre field. Ange Postecoglou's got something to think about at half-time, because Newcastle were great front runners. They are one of 4 Premier League teams yet to lose when scoring first this season, but they're also very good once they get into the lead. I suppose the only caveat of that is that Tottenham have gained 10 points already this campaign from losing positions.
It's interesting, we spoke before and it just said the importance of the wide areas at both ends of the pitch would influence the game, and when you probably turn around and say we've not had a great deal out of Werner and Johnson, but we certainly have out of Gordon and Murphy at this moment in time.
Remember, Basuma, Maddison and Son left on the bench today by Tottenham. They've had injuries and illnesses galore in the camp, which have robbed them of key players. They started a rookie goalkeeper. Here is Lewis Hall over on the left-hand side. The ball flown into him by Bruno Guimaraes. He's on the left edge of the penalty area. He's pegged back by Johnson. Bruno Guimaraes has found Gordon, though. Gordon back to Bruno Guimaraes, who's the heartbeat of the team, just keeps them ticking over nicely in the middle of the park. On to Byrne, then on to Livramento, back into Botman to Tonali. Good football by Newcastle United. They play it around so elegantly. Here is Murphy into Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, he tried to just tee that up for Livramento. And then actually, I think that came off of Jed Spence last.
Yeah, it did.
And it should have been a corner.
I would have to question Livramento there. You could tell that Spence was going to use his body to see it out. The ball, I don't think, had enough pace on if Livramento was a bit more aggressive. But I think at the end of it, Spence was the one that rolled it over his foot, and it was a corner.
It's definitely a corner, and we could see that from up here. Here is Bergvall on the halfway line, dispossessed by the retreating Anthony Gordon, who works so hard off the ball as well as on it, and then Dragusin just kicks it out of play over on the far side. You're listening to Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
To be fair, you get the impression that Newcastle are enjoying today a little bit more than Tottenham at the moment, but what I would say, there's been certain games where you think Tottenham are out of it and all of a sudden they get goals from absolutely nothing.
Yeah. All of their points that they've gained from losing positions have come at home when they've won 3 and drawn 1 of the 7 games, in which actually they've gone 1-0 down. But they're 2-1 down here. Here is Isak getting to the edge of the penalty area. He's got Joe Linton in support. Bruno Guimaraes is arriving as well. Back on the left-hand side, there's loads of space for Gordon. They've fed it to him. Isak wanders into the centre, but Gordon's gone alone. It's taken a double deflection, gone behind, and away for another corner to Newcastle, who have finished this second part of the first half in rampant form.
Yeah, it's fair to say when Newcastle do break on Spurs, they look as though they're the team with a bit more belief. They look as though we can score here. When Spurs have done the same to Newcastle, they haven't suffered the same threat, I would say.
Next goal's pivotal in this game. It's Hall's corner. Joe Linton heads it down, away by Bergvall. Falls to Livramento. Livramento's 15 yards short of the penalty area, but it clips it back down the right for Lewis Hall, who gets it under control, then sends it to Bruno Guimaraes inside the penalty area. Across comes Kulusevski. Byrne keeps it alive, feeds it to Anthony Gordon. He's down the left towards Joe Linton, who strikes it on the slide, and he hits the ball. It goes straight behind and away for a goal kick away to our right hand side. What will Ange Postecoglou feel about this first 45 minutes, Stuart Pearce?
Well, for me, he'll be thinking to himself, I need more threat from the wide players, and he's got Sonny, his captain, sat behind him, you know. I think Kulusevski's done okay, I think Solanke's done well, but it's those wide areas that I think is half the problem, that he wants a little bit more from those wide areas.
4 minutes added on at the end of the first 45, we understand. Newcastle leading by 2-1. Notts County 2-0 up against Swindon in League 2 now. And the only other goal that we've had so far in the EFL today, of which there are, I think, 7 more games, is Bristol Rovers leading away at Cambridge by a goal to 0. Blackburn-Burnley, which is live on Talksport 2, is still 0-0. And remember, later on Talksport 2, Manchester City against West Ham United, not on UK TV, only on Talksport, as we take you round the grounds here with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney, Scott Minto and Mickey Gray. We're mob-handed as we go round the grounds this Saturday afternoon. Jed Spence scurries back into the left full-back position under pressure from Bruno Guimaraes, because a loose ball was sent back in his direction, and another loose ball has been given away to Joe Linton, who's popped it off to Gordon, then got the return. The Brazilian into the left wing position as Newcastle come forward. He's fed it into Gordon, who's being chased by Pap Sarr. He manages to get it back to Joe Linton, but Tottenham again guilty of being sloppy in possession as confirmation comes of that 4 minutes of added time. Murphy on the right now. Livramento goes down the outside on the overlap, but he goes infield to Bruno Guimaraes, and Newcastle happy and contentious to try and control the last few minutes of this first half. Gordon dabs it down to Hall. Hall into the left wing position. More space for Gordon. It's all Newcastle United. They have it with Hall, who's dispossessed by Brennan Johnson, and then Pedro Porro will look to shoot it clear up towards Kulusevski. He takes it down, runs centrally, has 3 Newcastle players very quickly around him, and that midfield of Newcastle has been functioning so well in recent weeks, robs possession and sends it back towards the Newcastle attack. Murphy takes it on left side, cross into the box, goes towards Joe Linton, headed away by Dragusin. Out towards the near side, but Livramento is there.
I'll tell you what, Livramento's played very, very well this half. He's dealt with Werner very comfortably, and on top of that, he sprung off of Werner and got forward. It's Werner's worst nightmare, really. He can't beat him, and he's got to track him back 100 yards.
Isak into Joel Linton inside the penalty area, but he just couldn't get hold of it, and it ran past his foot, and Gray just helped it back to Brandon Austin in the Tottenham Hotspur goal. It's Tottenham 1, Newcastle United 2. Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon on the score sheet for Newcastle United, who came back from a goal down to lead here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. An impressive response to conceding such an early goal in the game.
I've got to say, Sam, I was up at the Rangers-Spurs game just before Christmas, and Werner didn't play particularly well, got dragged at half-time and criticised by the manager. I'm not sure he's done a great deal better today, to be honest with you.
He got heavily criticised by his manager, if I remember rightly. There's quite a chastening rebuke in the post-match press conference from Ange Postecoglou, whose team have had 2 shots on target in the first half, but have surrendered ball possession to their opponents. They've had 54% of it. And the expected goals tally reflecting the match, really. There's certainly Newcastle lead on that metric. And I think they've been the better team in the game, although Spurs have still got something in them, and the cross from the right-hand side has just outfoxed the goalkeeper, Dubravka, and it has to be tucked behind by Livramento, ahead of Timo Werner. It was a good delivery, that, from the right side from Pedro Porro right at the end of the first half.
It certainly was. Porro put the ball in for the goal earlier. He's put a wonderful cross in then. Newcastle at full stretch to deal with it. And Solanke's gone near post. Joe Linton tracked him across that near post area as well.
Here comes the corner. It's in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's an easy header away by Isak. It wasn't a great delivery by Werner. And then Anthony Gordon has put pressure on Archie Gray, and he's got away from Gray on the halfway line. He's tucked it into Isak. Bruno Guimaraes trying to get up on the outside, but Guimaraes loses out because Isak lost control of the ball. And Archie Gray can recover and get it back to Brandon Austin, but the press is still on, and Murphy is causing Gray problems, and now Isak has come across to double up, and the ball goes out of play on the near side. Isak thinks it came off Gray last. The assistant referee says that's going to be a throw in the Spurs in the left full-back position as we approach the last few seconds of the first half.
I'll tell you what, Spurs were a control issue away by Isak from conceding a third, I think.
Yeah, if he gets that under control and feeds it to Guimaraes, that's it, curtains, I would think. And they lead just by 2 goals to 1. And there is the half-time whistle, and a few groans from the Tottenham Hotspur supporters. Travel sickness is temporary, and maybe this form might just be permanent for Newcastle United, because Eddie Howe's team haven't won in London this season, but they are on such a good run, in such good form, even the capital can't crush them. Tottenham Hotspur took the lead in this game, but since then it's been one-way traffic, and Newcastle United have come from behind to lead at the break by 2 goals to 1.
Sam Matterface, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, sort of a bit of a subdued atmosphere here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, understandably so amongst the home faithful. Newcastle United, obviously, as you say, Sam, have the advantage here going into half-time. If you're Tottenham Hotspur, Stuart Pearce, that half-time couldn't have come soon enough, could it? Because they were being completely outrun by Newcastle, who looked totally in control. Yeah,
the longer the half went on, the more Newcastle were gaining confidence, enjoying their football, finding little triangles, getting it into these wide areas, putting the ball in the box, and it was only ever going to look like Newcastle getting a third goal. I wouldn't be surprised at half-time, Resh, if Werner's hooked for Sonny, maybe. But at this moment in time, it looks all on to be a Newcastle victory.
It really does, doesn't it? In terms of touches in the box, though, Spurs was with only 4, Newcastle with 18 in that first half. It just tells you where the majority of the play has been in this game, and Tottenham have a real problem there.
That's the whole story of the game. Those touches in each box. Newcastle having conceded an early goal, which would have been a real blow to their confidence, and I've got to say it was an outstanding team goal as well from Tottenham. Really clinical cross into the box with a good set-up for the cross, and a great diving header by Solanke, who I think he's played quite well, and Kulusevski's done reasonably well as well within the ranks, but aside from that, it's difficult to pick out a Spurs player. Yeah,
as you say, it was a fantastic goal to start with, so that early kind of euphoria really dissipated very quickly. 2 minutes 19 between those two goals and the Anthony Gordon's equaliser, and then of course Alexander Isak scoring late on, and Jacob Murphy with the assist. Tottenham Hotspur have shipped 17 goals in their last 5 games at home. Bearing in mind there's still another 45 minutes to be played. What can Ange Postecoglou do then to try and make sure it doesn't keep rising to 18, 19, and that they can actually get something from this game?
I think it's the same story, you know. Don't give away cheap goals at the back or cheap possession at the back or in your half. That's key. You know, Newcastle's goals come from that. Now, they'll be aggrieved. They'll say there was a handball in the build-up. I don't think it was deliberate. But they've still conceded a goal 30 metres from their own goal where they spread to play. So they've gifted Newcastle a way back into the game. And I think the substitutes bench is going to be used sooner rather than later if they're all fit and obviously no illness or whatever from the likes of Son or Maddison.
Yeah, as you say, Son, Maddison and Bissouma are the 3 first teamers that we were all surprised to see on the bench. I don't think we're going to be surprised if we see them coming on in this second half. At half-time here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it is Tottenham Hotspur 1, Newcastle United 2, 45 minutes still to play. You've not been able to take your eyes off this game. What a thriller it's been so far. Stay with us. Second half is up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream Sky Sports' big weekend, including Brighton versus Arsenal, live today. Available with no contract on Now. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
You could skydive out of a plane. Or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high. That guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. Winter sale ends soon. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Sack the gaffer! You need thesun.co.uk. Bagged a big move? Check out thesun.co.uk. Oh, come on, Rav! Never a pen? Read thesun.co.uk. Seen red? See thesun.co.uk. Whatever's going on in the game, whenever you want it, wherever you are, from goals to gossip and everything football, it's got to be thesun.co.uk.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
At Betfair, we're about finding different ways to play. Like with our 90-minute guarantee. We've all been there. The clock ticks over into 90 minutes and then a speculative cross into the box ricochets off a knee and goes in, ruining your bet. But with Betfair's 90-minute guarantee, if your bet is winning at 90 minutes or full time, we pay out. Betfair. Play different.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with the 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Psst, did you know you can order McDelivery deals? Like the Feed the Family deal for just $14.99. That's 4 selected burgers, 2 medium fries and 2 small fries. Who's in then?
Oh yeah, me.
And me. McDelivery. You in? Delivery only from 11 a.m. 4 times selected burgers, 4 times selected fries. Subject to availability. Price, delivery fee and participation may vary.
The Screwfix sale is now on and it's big! Save a big £15 on the Gold Screw Trade Pack, now only $19.99. And grab the Stanley Organizer for just $9.99, saving you a big £10. Hurry, the sale must end on the 5th of January. It's big. Delivery fees may apply, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Game day. It's football to the max. Into the corner, wonderful goal. Game day exclusive on Talksport.
Hello there, you're listening to Game Day Exclusive live on Talksport. We are halfway through our 12:30 Premier League kickoff here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where it is Spurs 1, Newcastle 2. Over on Talksport 2 in the Championship, it's Blackburn 0, Burnley 0. Elsewhere, Swansea City and West Brom is also goalless, as is Stoke versus Plymouth in League 1. Burton Albion 0, Northampton Town 0, Cambridge 0, Bristol Rovers 1, and in League 2, Notts County 2, Swindon Town 0, whilst Bradford versus Grimsby is still goalless. We need a few more goals, don't we? Maybe people are too cold to score. I hope not so here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's been a blistering first half, and with that in mind, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. We're paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Applies to match odds. 90 Market Sportsbook exclusive. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
James Mackey from Betfair. How are you doing and how are the odds looking? Because that was a pretty interesting first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, all good, thanks Reshmin. Well, what a start we had to the game with the 2 goals in the first 6 minutes, and then Alexander Isak put Newcastle ahead just before half-time. It looks as though there'll be more goals throughout the second half with how the game's gone so far. Spurs are the big outsiders to win the game now at 10-1, and they need to stop the rot being winless in their last 5 Premier League home games. Newcastle, as you'll know, they're as short as 2-7 now to win the game from 8-11 pre-game. And they've been on the front foot, deserve to be ahead, and the draw is now 7-2 at the half-time break and needed for the charity bet to land.
Well, indeed.
Yes, this is the thing. I'll go on to it. But just first, we'll have a look at the player markets.
Yes, let's do that.
Because the player markets at half-time have Dominic Solanke. He got the ball rolling, didn't he, in the 4th minute with a superb header. And for him to grab a second any time is 11-4. And if you want to look at for him to get a hat-trick, it's you can back him at 25-1. For Newcastle, Anthony Gordon got the goal to take Newcastle level. He's also 11-4 to score a second and 20-1 to score a hat-trick. And for Alexander Isak, well, he should probably have 2 already. But for him to get a second, he's 7-5. And only 9-1 to grab a hat-trick. And just as we were mentioning the charity bet, well, if Sam would have changed his mind and gotten stuck with Newcastle.
Yes, Sam. We all told you. We all said it.
Hold on.
He would not be bullied because he just didn't want to be bullied. He went with his original.
I was convinced
his original
by our
idea.
Betfair representative that I should stick with my original bet.
Well, it was all just looking for the value in the price, wasn't it? But look, there's still a second half to play. But what I will say is Bruno Guimaraes foul, that's in. Isak shot on target, that's in. So all we need is Spurs to come back and get the draw for the charity bet to land, which will be £231.43.
Wouldn't that just be amazing? Sam, wouldn't that have just been amazing?
Listen, there's still 45 minutes to go, and although at this moment it looks unlikely, you never know. This is Tottenham.
That's also very true, James.
Well, that's what it's all about. We've got 45 minutes to play, so let's see what happens.
It's all about the jeopardy. Who knows? Nothing's planned in football, is it? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 45 minutes? We will soon find out. James Mackey from Betfair, thank you very much. That odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. Make sure you go to begambleaware.org.
Game day on Talksport with Betfair. We're paying out winning bets at 90 minutes with 90-minute guarantee. Applies to match odds. 90 Market Sportsbook exclusive. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League, EFL and beyond. He's at Selhurst Park for Palace against Chelsea. Now, Adrian Durham always likes to stir things up. And do you know what?
Me?
I'm just saying, 2025 hasn't started in any way, shape or form any differently, because you don't think that second goal should have stood, do you?
No,
or the first goal, rather.
By the equaliser, by the current
goal,
laws,
yes.
Fine. By common sense, it shouldn't really stand, because the handball isn't deliberate, but it puts Newcastle in such an amazing position.
It's an advantageous position, isn't it?
For me, in the old days, a referee would hopefully have applied common sense to that. But now everything's strictly to the letter of the law. There's no slack being cut. But there you go. That's it. But I mean, whoever back Spurs to win, I'm amazed. But yeah, but there you go.
I shouldn't
Newcastle
laugh as
ended
loud
on
as
top.
I did, should I? About that.
No, you shouldn't. No. I'm at Palace Chelsea this afternoon. Really looking forward to it. Palace are making themselves hard to beat,
aren't they? Just
Chelsea lost to Ipswich with 75% possession, so I'm looking forward to something unpredictable here today.
I was going to say it's likely to be predictable, because I do like the way that, you know, everyone was almost writing Palace off at the start. You kind of felt that Oliver Glasner got a bit of the rub of the green at the end of last season, when Palace suddenly sort of went on this bit of a surge, and then the season started off quite badly. But they've really found ways to rectify their previous errors, and I think that they're looking quite, as you say, hard to beat. And for Chelsea as well, maybe with their sort of, you know, backs against the wall a little bit after the Ipswich defeat, but surely, because it's a London derby, there could be a bit of spice in this one.
I think so, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. Glad to be here. We're at all the other Premier League games as well. Bournemouth, Everton, Villa, Leicester, Man City, West Ham, which is on Talksport 2, Southampton, Brentford, all kick off at 3, and around the grounds in the Championship and the EFL as well. FA Trophy for non-league sides. There's a remarkable amount of games that are still on today.
Yeah.
Some have been postponed, but I'm really pleased that a lot of clubs have got their games on despite the frosty weather, so that's really good. So we're around the grounds, all the goals as they go in. It's a fast-moving show on a Saturday afternoon, as everybody knows.
As it always is, Adrian. Now, we do have live coverage. You mentioned it there, Man City versus West Ham. And you talk about it and say, oh, Man City actually won their last game. How is the balance going to tip in this one? And particularly for Julian Lopetegui. I mean, if he's... After their last defeat to Liverpool, it's a pretty tough order to then play Manchester City, or it would have been a few years ago. But they are facing the City side at home. They are facing a City side who finally got that victory under their belt. How's it going to look for West Ham going into this one?
Well, there's no Bowen, so no party. You know, he's the heartbeat for me of West Ham United. Everything good usually stems from him or centres around him. So he's out, and it's a huge blow. You wouldn't go as far to say they're a one-man team, but they're not far off it without Jared Bowen. I just can't see them winning many games. Certainly can't see them winning at City. Despite the fact that win at Leicester, they didn't even boss possession in that game, which is so unlike Manchester City. But they're certainly not the Man City we've seen over the last few seasons. Still expect them to win against the West Ham side without Jared Bowen.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a great afternoon, as you say. So many games to stay across. Adrian, great to talk to you as always, and a happy new year to you and your crew. Looking forward to listening to you after we finish up here. Of course, we're at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The second half is kicking off imminently. The players are out on the pitch. Let's see if there's going to be a sub. It looks like it. I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team for this one. It is Stuart Pearce and, of course, Sam Matterface. There you go.
Sergio Reguilon has come on to replace Radu Dragusin at half-time. What that means is that there is not one single central defender in the Spurs team in the second half. Just thought I'd let that sink in for a little bit. So let's see what happens next. Looks like Jed Spence will go in alongside Archie Gray at the heart of the defence, with Reguilon at left back and Porro at right back. Is that injury, illness, tactical? Explain. Stuart Pearce.
I really couldn't tell you. I don't think Dragusin's been particularly good. I didn't think he was. I think it was the Liverpool game, wasn't it, that they played not so long ago. I was really disappointed in his performance then, so it could be absolutely anything.
Well, Sergio Reguilon has played 41 minutes this season. He spent last season on loan at Manchester United and Brentford, but he's back in the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur for the first time in a couple of years, and it's cleared away straight away from the Newcastle defence and up towards Isak, who's on the charge early on. Gray comes across and puts it out, and I'll run through the 2-11s for you in just a second. But that is a significant change at the start of the second half, whether it's to do with form or indeed it's just a choice. Either way, it will generate debate straight afterwards. I mean, he didn't look injured, did he?
No, but, well, listen, they did have a problem on that side dealing with Murphy. I don't know whether he thinks Reguilon would be a better bet dealing with him on that side.
Kulusevski on the other side tries to get into the penalty area. It's cleared away by Botman and out for a throw-in opposite us. I'll go through the 2-11s and what that means really for Tottenham, who have made one of their substitutions here. at half-time. They start with Brandon Austin in goal, Porro, Spence, Gray and Reggie on the back four. It's about as unconventional a Spurs backline as you can get, really. Papsar and Lucas Bergvall, the two holders in midfield. Kulusevski is the number 10 with Johnson and Werner behind Solanke, who has scored already today in front of the England manager in attack. Here's Pedro Porro down the right. Teasing ball into the box, not well dealt with. Solanke comes out, punched away by Dubravka. Fired over the top of an empty net by Papsar. Well, I think Solanke is going to be penalised for a foul on the goalkeeper before that shot came in. But Papsar was 9 yards from goal. There was no goalkeeper. He was on the floor and he fired over the top of an open net.
Well, he got Dubravka got cleared out, I think, by the challenge of Solanke. Solanke's gone in there, foot up. He's took the goalie out. The goalie's gone down, holding his face. No eye on the ball whatsoever. And the resulting effort ended up over the bar. Got to say once again, Porro's quality of cross, absolutely outstanding, Sam.
Was there handball by Livramento in the build-up to that, which sort of set up the chance for Solanke, who did clatter into Dubravka, who has gone down and is in need of treatment?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, if this would have hit the back of the net, I think if VAR would have looked at it, they would have said maybe the goalkeeper was fouled by Solanke.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Either way, I don't think that Livramento is going to be penalised for handball. I think they're probably going to deem that was too close to his body or it came at him too fast, but the referee certainly didn't see it, nor did the assistant on the near side. Still treatment goes on for Dubravka. And they've got Livramento at right back, Botman, Byrne and Lewis Hawes the back four, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali and Joel Linton in midfield, Murphy and Anthony Gordon on the flank with Isaac through the centre. Dubravka, having sort of recovered his faculties, gets the chance to take a free kick right on the edge of the 6-yard box. So a rejig for Spurs, who are basically playing 3 full-backs and a central midfielder who spent most of his time playing full-back as their back line in this second half, up against an attack which has scored 20 goals in its last 7 or 6.5 games. Ball cleared by Dubravka, away by Lucas Bergvall on halfway, forward by Guimaraes, taken down by Bergvall, who does well and steers it out to the far side. Reguilon helps it on to Timo Werner. And then it goes back towards Bergvall, who looks to switch the play from left to right, finds Pedro Porro. Tottenham have started on the front foot here in the second half. On to Brennan Johnson, who didn't see much of the ball in that first 45. Back to the right it goes, and Pedro Porro again. Kulusevski, then into Bergvall. He's played that behind Sergio Reguilon. And he tries to turn it forward, the former Spanish international. Got 6 caps, joined from Sporting in 2023. Joined from Real Madrid before he was then on loan to Sevilla. Here is Jed Spence under pressure, and under pressure too much from Gordon, who gives away a free kick.
I'll tell you what, he got fortunate then, overrun it, and ended up being taken out by Gordon. But if it wasn't for that foul, I think they lose possession and problems.
Yeah. Well, so far Tottenham have started the brighter in the second half, but certainly the first 45 minutes belonged to Newcastle United. After about 20 minutes they just completely dominated, and they've given the ball away against Spurs to Lewis Hall this time. Bruno Guimaraes felt he was fouled by Papsar. Referee said nothing doing, and they come forward with Solanke chasing a loose ball. Botman's not going to get there. Livramento's going to have to help him out, and did. And Botman just a little bit disjointed there. It come back into Solanke, who's trying to turn. Botman gets the tackle in. Tottenham have committed a lot of bodies forward, and that's left gaps, and Murphy's going to exploit that. Charging forward, 3-on-3. They're struggling to get back. Isaac peels away to the right. Murphy's gone through the middle. It's too close to Porro, but it's come straight back out to Isaac, who's inside the area. Reguilon has to recover, intervenes, manages to get it clear, but Bruno Guimaraes robs it, sends it to Tonali. Tonali, edge of the area, plays it down the right, comes back to him off of a ricochet off of Porro. His strike is then blocked by Bergvall, and it goes to the far side, and Werner tries to get out. He can't. Murphy is there, and Newcastle have turned that ball over inside Tottenham territory several times there, and their quick break caused them all sorts of problems.
Yeah, they certainly look a handful when they do break, certainly when Spurs are not back in numbers behind the ball. But saying that, Solanke caused a bit of a problem to Botman earlier. Botman and Livramento managed to deal with it eventually, though.
Well, Newcastle have beaten Spurs in 4 of their last 5 Premier League meetings, and we thought we might get some entertainment today. These two clubs have never played out a 0-0 draw. 59 previous meetings in the Premier League have produced 189 goals. It's the 3rd highest scoring fixture in Premier League history. I don't think we're done yet. Gordon onto Hall, down the left, low cross, blocked by Spence, right on the edge of the 6-yard box and out for another corner to Newcastle United. It's 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, they look a real threat in these wide areas, Newcastle. Great run, underlapping run by Hall on that occasion. Gordon supplied him readily, and eventually Porro got across and just dealt with the problem.
Here's the corner to be taken on the near side by Lewis Hall. At the back edge of the penalty area now, away from the goalkeeper. Botman and Byrne charging towards it. Botman with a header down, blocked by Bergvall. And it comes out of the penalty area through the middle of the Tottenham half, and it's retrieved by Gordon onto Livramento. Far side the right is Bruno Guimaraes being chased by Kulusevski, evades his clutches, feeds it into Murphy. Murphy with a cross from the right-hand side. Goalkeeper is up with Isaac and grabs the ball from the sky and brings it out into the edge of the penalty area. 53 gone. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. Live on Talksport. It's Blackburn 0, Burnley 0 in the Championship. Stoke 0, Plymouth 0. Mark Robins in charge for the first time as Stoke today. Swansea 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. And in League 1, Burton 0, Southampton 0, Cambridge 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Here comes Spurs with Kulusevski up towards the midway point of the Newcastle half. Out wide to Johnson. His cross is blocked by Hall. It's going to spin kindly for Tottenham and out for a corner. In League 2, Notts County leads Swindon by 2-0. And the Bradford Grimsby game kicked off at 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's 0-0. They haven't reached half-time yet.
Just off to our left there, Basuma and Son going through quite a stringent warm-up. I think it won't be too long before both of those are on, at least one of them.
Here is the short corner taken to Pedro Porro. Kulusevski's made a dart infield. Porro's cross is blocked by Gordon. And a waste of a set piece, really. It's gone all the way back to the halfway line and Jed Spence. And Pedro Porro feeds it down the line. And Murphy's going to get there ahead of Kulusevski. And then it might come back for Bergvall, who's trying to nip in. It's just sprung off the Swede towards the corner flag. He's kept it alive well. And then fed his compatriot into the box. Low ball cleared away by Byrne. And it's out towards this near side. And it's out for another Spurs throw. Just up the ante a little bit in this second half, Tottenham.
Yeah, they certainly have. And it's this right-hand side that's looking fruitful. Porro with his crossing ability. And on that occasion, Bergvall and Kulusevski doubling
Oh dear.
up.
Well, Jed Spence was robbed of the ball there, and the referee's given a free kick. It may have been, but it looked a little bit soft.
Well,
if he had lost that, not got the free kick, he was in serious trouble.
Yeah, he certainly was. That's the second time this half that he's just overrun it slightly, but got away with it.
Johnson down the outside, trying to get the better of Hall. Good defending by him, does well. Loses out to Pedro Porro though. Edge of the box is Kulusevski, sets it up for Papsar, who's right-footed shot, well saved. Comes back out of Johnson, who hits the post from a tight angle. Into Kulusevski, down the outside. His shot blocked by Joel Linton, and it goes out for a corner. Well, Dubravka made the first save, and I don't know how Johnson got it back across the face of goal there to hit the outside of the post, but from a tight angle, he certainly did. And that's a bit of luck for Newcastle United that they didn't concede an equaliser.
Yeah, it was a great effort from the edge of the box. Just used Byrne's body to guide it round. Good save by the goalkeeper. Couldn't keep it close to him. And the follow-up smashed against the post.
2-1 to Newcastle, but they're defending here. And it's a left-footed corner by Reguilon towards the far post, which is headed away by Dan Byrne. Big, strong header, which powers out of the box. Back with Reguilon again, who clips it towards the edge of the box. The header by Botman, picked off by Bergvall. Bruno Guimaraes just switched off a little there. Werner tries to go down the outside, produces a cross, blocked by Hall. He thinks it hit the German last. The referee said no. Well, it's a corner.
I could see that from here. It was a double ricochet for me. I've not seen the replay again, but it certainly looked like a goal kick. Tottenham won't worry about that, though.
Here is the corner over on the far side, taken by Bergvall. Right-footed in towards the near post. A double deflection again. Kulusevski just flicking it onto Murphy, and it goes behind and away for a second successive corner, which is quickly taken and short into Kulusevski. Back to Reguilon, who's the ball is fed into the box. It's headed away by Joel Linton. Still not clear. Kulusevski on the left side of the area now, trying to recycle it. Across goes Livramento to challenge him. He does enough to put him off, and then Murphy, Livramento and Bruno Guimaraes get it clear, and Isaac now beats the sliding challenge of Bergvall and takes the ball up to halfway. Gives it to Bruno Guimaraes, who nudged it to his left. Tonali now leading the charge. He's got Gordon outside him. Goes into the box, feeds it towards goal. Comes back off Gray to Gordon. And Gordon, after the bounce off the chest of Archie Gray, slams it high into the Newcastle fans behind the goal, away to our left-hand side. Let's get team news from the Vitality Stadium. Alex Crook.
Well, Kepa Arrizabalaga has been back in Spain this week, witnessing the birth of his twin girls, so he drops to the bench. Mark Travers starts in goal. One of 3 changes for the Cherries. Ouattara and Kluivert also return. 1 change for Everton as Lindstrom comes in for Harrison. It's Bournemouth against Everton.
Yeah, we'll give you the team news from all of the other 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League very shortly. Manchester City West Ham is our commentary game on Talksport too, but we're focusing on events at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Newcastle lead by 2 goals to 1. Now let's go off to Villa Park. Aston Villa unbeaten in 9 Premier League games at home, take on Leicester today. Jeff Peters.
Morgan Rogers serves a suspension for Villa. John Duran still banned. Pau Torres and Diego Carlos got injured on Monday. Mings and Barkley come in, as does Matty Cash after a ban. Luke Thomas gets the shout in defence for Leicester as Christensen is ill. Ayew back from suspension. He replaces Buonanotte.
Chelsea have lost back-to-back Premier League games for the first time since last February. What's going to happen today? Ollie Klink.
Well, they've made 6 changes, Sam, to the lineup that lost to Ipswich. There are starts for Sanchez, youngster Achimpong, Malagusto, Neto, Sancho and Jackson. As for Palace, 2 changes from their win over Southampton. Gahey comes in for Chalobah, while Doucouré is in for Hughes.
Well, this is an interesting situation. The referee has just deemed that there was no foul on Anthony Gordon as he ran into the box, chopped back, and then was whacked in the face by Kulusevski. I think it's an accidental collision of heads here, actually. Oh, it's the shoulder of Kulusevski which connects with his nose. He goes down. Referee said no foul, but then has stopped the game because of a head injury.
This is such a difficult judgment call here. What is a foul and what isn't? If you run into somebody with your shoulder, it's got to be a foul, really, and you connect with their face.
I mean, did he elevate the shoulder?
Whether he did or didn't, he still took him out because he's run into him with his shoulder and it's caught him on the face. Real difficult one for the officials to make a judgment call on this.
Madley was very quick to dismiss the claims for a penalty. Should he have been so quick to dismiss those claims?
Well, put it this way, if he give a penalty, VAR are not getting involved in that, are they?
Well, Chris
it's one of those grey areas.
As we understand it, is not getting involved either. So what we'll do instead is go off to Ian Danter, who's at the Etihad Stadium, after what can only be described as a brilliant commentary on Luke Littler's fantastic win last night. He switched Ali Pali for the Etihad, and he's got West Ham to deal with today on Talksport 2. Here is Dance.
Someone will hit the bullseye. May well be Erling Haaland, but he scored a hat-trick against West Ham in August. He starts in an unchanged Manchester City lineup from the win at Leicester. 4 changes West Ham. Bowen, of course, out injured. The players coming in, you've got Somerville coming in. Also, return for Souček in midfield and Todibo at the back, along with Nicholas Füllkrug making a rare start. It's live on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock. Manchester City West Ham.
Yeah, looking forward to that this afternoon. Manchester City against West Ham United. Southampton Brentford completes the Premier League picture for the 3 o'clock kickoff. Southampton currently 10 points from safety. Who has Ivan Juric picked today? Here's Talksport's Jake Robson.
Well, he's made 2 changes from the side that lost to Crystal Palace. Ugachukwu and Suleimana start. Fernandes suspended, Armstrong on the bench. For Brentford, it's also 2 changes from their defeat at home to Arsenal. Jensen and Schade both return. Janelt and Yarmuluk on the bench.
James Maddison, Heung-min Son and Yves Bissouma have come onto the field of play for Bergvall, Sarr and Timo Werner. The Premier League Match Centre has confirmed that they did check that Livramento handball, by the way, and said no handball in the build-up to that injury for Dubravka. So Werner off, Sarr off, Son on, Basuma on, and Maddison for Bergvall as well. So all change for the home team. What do you make of those changes, Stuart?
Well, I think it's very offensive, I've got to say. I think Werner's been a little bit disappointing, but credit to Livramento, who's dealt with him extremely well. Son coming on, no surprise there. Maddison coming on to supplement the attack as well. I think it's typical Ange, really. We're going after you and we're coming after the game. If we concede another one, so be it.
Well, Son missed a penalty against Spurs, scored 3 times in December, but I think most people have suggested that he hasn't been at his best this campaign, but he's on the pitch now.
I think from a defensive point of view, I can see Maddison and Kulusevski up against Tonali and Guimaraes, and that will be interesting. Can they deal with those two 2-on-2, the two Newcastle sort of semi-holders, if you like?
Well, Werner is off and on is Son. And is that enough in midfield? Have they got enough in midfield there now, do you think?
Spurs?
Yeah.
To be fair, Basuma, it will be down to him to cover that distance in front of the two centre halves. The bottom line is they need a goal, Sam.
Yeah, they certainly do. He's Basuma, who comes onto the field of play in this second half. He's going to be the one that's charged with protecting their goal. They can't afford to concede any more, that's for sure. Here is Basuma, one of his first touches since coming off the bench. Son, another one for them to turn to. Played out towards the left-hand side where he is operating, and Reguilon couldn't help it onto him. Interesting that Reguilon and Son over on that left-hand side now. It's complete change from that first half, where in that first half they didn't really get to grips with Livramento and Jacob Murphy. It's a different approach to them now. Livramento's got something different to think about.
Yeah, I've got to say he done his work very well in the first half, Livramento, defensively, and supplemented the attack as well.
Ball is on the halfway line with Murphy, and his first time ball over the top is for Isaac to chase, and he plays it against Pedro Porro. Porro was accused of handball. I don't think that it was. I think it was a body shot, really. And it's cleared away by Spurs. Maddison has it now, just to the left of the centre of midfield, moving out towards the far side, feeds the ball into Son. Solanke goes to meet him. Son gets it back again. Son in engagement with Botman, went to go down. He's kept on his feet and nudged it back to Solanke. They're in the left wing position here. Here's Maddison. Went to get the cross in, blocked by Bruno Guimaraes, who went on the outside. And now it's picked up by Son again, and Bruno just puts him under a little bit of pressure. Murphy goes out to engage with Reguilon, and they have to go all the way back to the midpoint of the Newcastle half. And Basuma tries to turn it back to Maddison, who drifts into the middle of the park. Maddison, who's very into his darts and got in a little bit of bother by going to the darts after the draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers, which, let's be honest, why isn't he allowed to go to the darts? It's not that far away, by the way, Alexander Palace from here. But I know some people got a little bit irate about it and thought that he just misread the room. Here is Gordon picking the ball up and sending it wide towards the right-hand side. Jacob Murphy canters over halfway. He moves into Tottenham territory. Space on the right for Livramento. Livramento takes on and beats Reguilon too easily. Then Basuma comes across to pinch the ball from Murphy. And Spurs have it back in their left full-back position. It remains 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, attack just run aground there, sort of got into advanced areas and run out of ideas. Didn't think quick enough about what picture they wanted in their mind.
Bruno Guimaraes runs across the line of Solanke, commits a foul, and it's a free kick to Newcastle 5 yards inside opposition territory. Newcastle actually have been bright at the start of second halves this season, but it's Tottenham who have started this second half just a little bit better, although there have been one or two counter-attacks which have caused a few issues for Spurs. Botman's just got an energy gel from the bench because he's just running on empty, I think.
Well, I thought he was signalling because he wanted to come off for a minute, but it's the energy gel, as you rightly say, has been thrown onto him.
Free kick then, over on the right side. It remains 2-1 to Newcastle United. The ball into the box towards Berg. Goalkeeper comes out. They grabbed it under pressure and then had to gobble it up at the second attempt. He went down. He's hurt himself here as Brandon Austin. As he went up to come and grab the ball with Byrne and Botman. He bumped into Botman and then landed the second time on the ball, but he's got back to his feet. West Brom have taken the lead away at Swansea. They lead by 1-0. Burnley 1-0 up against Blackburn on Talksport 2. As Austin now has dropped to the floor, needing treatment away to our left-hand side. You're listening to Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2 on Talksport with Sky Sports. And don't forget, you can stream Sky Sports Big Weekend, including Brighton versus Arsenal live today. Available on no contract. Search Now Sports. White and Jordan, by the way, back Monday. Jim White saw him on Thursday afternoon. Had a little bit of a chat with him about what he's got coming up next week. Some exciting stuff to look forward to from Monday, 10 a.m, only on Talksport. With the January transfer window open, Talksport is certainly the place to be. And Talksport.com has got all of the information that you need as the window starts to ratchet up. Just having a quick look at Thomas Tuchel, who is watching on over on the far side. And, it's definitely not an FA Cup, by the way. You were right.
No, it's a bit of both, really. Is that Martin Chivers up just behind him?
Martin Chivers sitting behind him, just a row behind Thomas Tuchel. Anthony Barry is alongside Thomas Tuchel, his assistant manager at England, as they refresh the coaching staff. They haven't completed that yet, that refreshing of the backroom staff, but that will happen over the next couple of weeks. Tottenham can't really afford to lose this game. This is one win in 7 before today in the Premier League, 1 win in 8 this would be. They haven't won a game in the Premier League here since the beginning of November. You're starting to get into dangerous territory if you're Ange Postecoglou, aren't you? Sitting 11th in the table?
Well, you certainly are. I've looked at the league table and you think, Lopetegui's been under the pump big time at West Ham. They're a point behind Tottenham.
And may well go above them if it stays like this today and they beat Manchester City.
Well, as I say, sometimes you look at the table and it puts your mind at ease or unrest, whatever team you actually work for.
Causes you a little bit of anxiety.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you think that, obviously there's a different plan of attack here, and it's quite a discernible one. Here is Johnson to the edge of the area, and Kulusevski, it's a bit behind him and he can't react to it, so it's cleared away, and Bruno Guimaraes runs into Yves Bissouma, who commits a foul. It's going to be a free kick short of the centre circle. Obviously there's a discernible style of play here at Tottenham, and there is the idea of long-term thinking being sold to the supporters, but is that going to continue to wash if they don't keep putting points on the board? Because look, this week is a pivotal week, isn't it? If they were to lose here and then play Liverpool at home on Wednesday night and have a problem, and then go to Tamworth under pressure, and then go into the North London derby at the Emirates Stadium, it's a big couple of games for Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham to negotiate.
Well, it certainly is. I'm not sure I give them much chance. If Liverpool put a strong side out, they look invincible at the moment. And then the Arsenal have got their tails up at present.
Yeah, don't rule out the problems that Tommy Tanks can cause with his long throws at Tamworth. Ball out of play over on the far side. It's free kick that's given before that, though, and James Maddison wants to take it. Newcastle have had the better of Tottenham for a couple of seasons now. They thrashed them at St James's Park 2 seasons ago, 5-0 up in 21 minutes. 6-1 it ended up there. They've won 4s and 5s as well against this Tottenham team. As I mentioned before, they've won 4 of the last 5 outings. It could be 5 out of 6 if it continues as it is. They lead by 2-1 with 20 minutes to go. Can Tottenham find an equaliser in the game? Ball down the right, taken on by Bissouma. Further wide it goes into Kulusevski. Kulusevski to the edge of the box. He chops back in, left-footed, in towards the near post. It's clutched by the goalkeeper and pulled into his chest, and it will be cleared away by Dubravka.
I'll tell you what, if I was Newcastle at this moment in time, I'd certainly be looking to shore up that central midfield area, because Spurs are attacking with 6. They've got 6 out and out, almost on the front foot type players, defending with 4, and I wonder whether either Tonali or someone else might come off for Longstaff, just shore things up at the back a little bit.
What a ball that is by Guimaraes out towards this near side, and Gordon just beaten to it by Pedro Porro. The idea was perfect. Jed Spencer's been squeezed here. He's managed to get the ball into midfield, and Kulusevski, a little touch by Brennan Johnson, kept alive by Kulusevski tight to the touchline. Challenge comes in from Joel Linton. Yeah, Tottenham have just turned it up a gear in the second half without really causing too many problems for Dubravka. They've hit the outside of the post from a tight angle from Brennan Johnson, but that's their only real chance in the second half.
But what they're doing, Sam, is loading up that front line. If you look now, you look across it, Maddison, Son, Solanke.
Here's Son in towards the near post, trying to feed Solanke a ball. Doesn't quite reach him and goes through to Dubravka. But all the while that Tottenham are going forward, they will create a chance or two between now and the end of the game. The only thing that might be of concern to Ange Postecoglou is just how open that might leave them on the counter-attack.
Yeah, but what I think they've done, they've shoved these 6 players sort of forward and said to them, get forward, but they've almost left 4 back, so 4 should be enough to deal with that. In time gone by, we've sort of seen Van der Ven, haven't we, and another sort of trying to defend the whole width of the pitch.
Well, both fullbacks actually are sticking to their jobs as fullbacks rather than being auxiliary attackers, which is usually the Postecoglou way.
Yeah, as I say, they're coming after Newcastle, and Newcastle have got to try and stem the tide, break the rhythm of the game, and on that try and counter-attack and get the third.
Guimaraes holds off the challenge of Maddison, rolls it, goes through the centre circle, feeds it into Isak, gets it back again, looks for Tonali, is pushed to the floor by Maddison. Maddison tells him to get back up. The referee says play on. Son travels out to the near side, gets a kick from Joel Linton. That's going to be a yellow card. And apparently it's a totting up process, according to Andy Madling. It might have been just because he kicked him.
Yeah, nothing too aggressive in that. He's dangled a leg, and as I say, he plays on the edge, doesn't he?
I spoke to him actually on Monday night after the Manchester United game. He was in good spirits. He scored a terrific goal, I thought, getting into the box, breaking into the box. It might have come off his shoulder, but the charge and the physicality caused United all sorts of problems. Maddison trying to cause problems for Newcastle here. Reverse ball which Tino Livramento dealt with, then went down under pressure. Referee says play on. The ball is actually broken nicely for Kulusevski. It's come back out to the near side, the right, on the attack for Pedro Porro. He tries to get the ball into the box, and then he pulls back Anthony Gordon as Gordon looks to escape. And you just wonder actually if that's not breaking up a promising attack.
Well, there's no doubt if he deems that a free kick, which very slight, very, very slight indeed. If he deems it a free kick, which he does because he's given a free kick, you've got to book him for it.
74 gone. It's Newcastle who lead, but their lead is narrow. And the game has been played at a really good pace. Lots of good football without too many clear-cut chances in the game, apart from the ones that obviously have put Newcastle in front. Joel Linton and Basuma duelling in the middle of the park. Joel Linton got away, then went down inexplicably, and the referee gave no free kick. Basuma then sent it forward to Brennan Johnson. He can't feed Kulusevski. Now it's Newcastle that come on the attack. And that's short from Joel Linton to Gordon. Basuma's turned it over. Johnson's gone down the right. Now Joel Linton's got to get back into position. Ball being turned over too much, and I think Newcastle will react here because they're just starting to regress a little bit too close to their own box. 15 to go.
Yeah, I think they've got to react before the ball hits their net. That's the important thing. You would say it's the centre of that midfield. Joe Linton's been the one to work tirelessly to stop things. I think he needs an assistance by another at this stage.
Maddison down the Tottenham left on the attack. 15 to go. Here is Solanke into Maddison, onto Son, who gets to the byline, then turns back because he was going to travel out of play. He's kept it in, and then put it back to Maddison, who can now tease it into the box. There's a lot of Newcastle shirts back there. Byrne heads it clear, comes back out of Porro now. Down the right side of the box is Kulusevski. Back towards Porro. Porro unleashes a shot, blocked by Tonali. Spirals into the air, and then down by Basuma, back to Archie Gray. But Tottenham feel as if the momentum has shifted, and they're on the attack again. Down the left to Maddison. Bristol Rovers go 2-0 up at Cambridge in League One. Here is Reguilon. Back out to Maddison. Maddison into Basuma. Basuma being thwarted by Tonali. Out wide it goes to Son, into Kulusevski, tries to turn around Botman. Dubravka comes sliding out and gobbles the ball up at the foot of Dejan Kulusevski and will clear away. Newcastle's away record over the last year not been great. They have lost 12 of the last 24 on the road, but they are on course here to win a third successive away game. But they've got to manage out these last 14 minutes. Joe Linton has gone down. He wants some treatment away to our right, as Bradford score a second goal at home against Grimsby just after half-time in that game. And Bradford, through Richards and Smallwood, he's just converted a penalty, lead Grimsby by 2-1. West Brom still 1-0 up. Burnley still lead away at Blackburn, which means that they will avoid another 0-0 draw. And remember, on New Year's Day, listening to Adrian and the team, and the suggestion being that Burnley might be a little bit boring. I'm not sure their fans will care too much about the idea of being dull now for the next 10 minutes if they see out a victory away at their arch rivals Blackburn. Harvey Barnes about to come on for Anthony Gordon. I think there's a suggestion that will be made now, as Joel Linton comes up on this near side, and it is Gordon who is replaced by Harvey Barnes. And Barnes, who is a pacey winger with an eye for goal, likes to play on the left-hand side. Gordon's taken as much time as possible to get off the pitch on this near touchline, winding up the Spurs fans. All part of the game.
Yeah, it is. As I say, it surprised me that they've done a sort of like-for-like substitution. I thought they might try and tighten up this midfield area. But listen, breaks in play are helpful to Newcastle at this moment in time, that is for sure.
Yeah, they've got Joe Willock, Lewis Miley, Sean Longstaff, all on the bench who could come in and do that job. None of those apart from Willock are warming up away to our left-hand side. Joe Linton about to come on, and Willock has got a big coat on away to our left. Former Arsenal youngster, of course. He would love to come here and cause some damage to Tottenham Hotspur. Basuma, as we restart again here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Ball forward by Maddison, cut out by Byrne. He bounces kindly for Tonali, who tosses it up towards Isaac, but Gray is going to do very well to bring that out of the sky and run forward. Do you know what? They've had a tough time, Tottenham. They haven't been brilliant, and they've conceded a lot of goals. But I think during the course of the period that he's been asked to play at centre-half, he would have learnt a lot, Archie Gray, and he's going to have a big future.
Oh, from a player's point of view, it's been excellent for him. You know, he's got on the ball. They've trusted him with the ball as well. I remember seeing the game up at Rangers. He was the one tasked with making them play and playing out from the back when more senior players are alongside him.
Foul here by Sven Botman on Maddison on the edge of the penalty area. He just sort of collided on the edge of the box. I mean, Botman saying that's not a foul. The referee has booked Botman.
Ludicrous for me. I'm not sure what Botman can do there. Maddison's been clever. He's played a 1-2, a give and go, but I'm not sure what Botman can do to... He's not stood his ground. He's tried to turn and cover the run. But Maddison's cute, and now he's in an area which is sort of point of the box left-hand side, where he might be looking to potentially fade into this near post.
Well, you're listening to Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Here is the free kick over on the far side. Maddison is going to take it, and he's going to hit this.
Incredible how wide the free kick is. It's literally the point of the box and another side, 3 yards back. He's put a four-man wall up for there.
This ball will go towards goal, right-footed. It's headed away by Livramento. Watch the run of Solanke. He was just charging towards the ball to try and help it on, I think. And Livramento reacted quicker than anybody else, and it goes into play and away for a throw. 10 minutes to go here. That second Bristol Rovers goal has been chalked off. It's still 1-0 there. And Grimsby have got one back at Bradford. It's 2-1 at Valley Parade to the home team. Here it's 2-1 to the away side. Short corner towards Madison from Son. He's right-footed ball to the far corner. Arcs just wide of the left-hand upright. Oh, what a chance. And he knows that was close. And a warning shot to Martin Dubravka, and another warning for Newcastle.
Well, they've defended the corner very deep and decided not to put two players out there to deal with a short one, and Madison's seen an opportunity. He's curled it, it's come in, but it's not come in enough to get it inside that far post.
2-1 to Newcastle with 9 minutes to go. Can they hold on to another victory? They're racking them up at the moment. It'll be 6 wins in a row, 5 in a row in the Premier League. Here is Isaac keeping it in down the left-hand side. Tackled by Spence, who cut across him. Barnes trying to chase it, but it's forced back towards Brandon Austin, who clears upfield. Byrne with a header. It's going to be one in midfield by Basuma, then Madison, then back to the left. They're deep inside their own half here, Tottenham, as Northampton go in front against Burton. Madison with a long ball forward, trying to feed Son in behind Livramento, who's adjusted his position. Space on the outside for Reguilon. Livramento gets across into Solanke, trying to turn Kulusevski, feeding it wide. It's Brennan Johnson! Comes all the way to Son, flash through the 6-yard box by Reguilon. What a chance for Tottenham. They've had several chances there. In one quick move, Johnson, then Reguilon through the box. And they can't quite believe that it hasn't tested Dubravka at all.
Well, look, Eddie Howe is the concerned manager down there. Ange Postecoglou got his head in his hands there, thought he had a real good opportunity of getting that equaliser, and he'll be looking for the winner afterwards.
Oh, the ball in by Johnson was a cross when it could have been a shot. Isaac back to Barnes in the left full-back position. Newcastle need an outball, and they need to relieve some pressure on that defence. Isaac goes foraging towards Archie Gray, who gets it back to his goalkeeper. 7 minutes to go. Joel Willock, I think, is going to come on here for Newcastle United. And Eddie Howe making a late change here to try and stiffen the Newcastle result. Eddie Howe and his team yet to win in London this season. They drew with Palace in November, lost at Fulham, Chelsea and Brentford. Are they going to win here? They'll have to see out this late Tottenham charge on Sunday against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was the other way round for Spurs. They were good in the first half, terrible in the second. Here it's been slightly different for them. Bad in the first half, better in the second 45. But can they do enough to get back into this game? Flapped away by Dubravka. Ball released by Newcastle. Tonali trying to get clear. Byrne has gone down. And Tonali's upset because he was running away with the ball and actually got past Basuma, and there was the whole green grass of the Tottenham half to run into. Byrne has been adjudged to need treatment, so the medical staff are on, so we'll have a delay, and it's time for me to tell you about the latest odds available at Betfair. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. The official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage offers you this right now. Tottenham 16-1 to come and win the game. Newcastle 7-2 on to win the match. The draw is 3-1. It's all thanks to Betfair. 18+, BeGambleAware.org. They're paying out on winning bets at 90 minutes with the 90-minute guarantee.
Well, just looking at the replay there, Dubravka, he's come out, he's cleared Dan Byrne out. There is no doubt about that, and the referee made the right call in stopping the play, and I think that is certainly of a benefit to Newcastle, isn't it? The breaks in play, because Tottenham are the team that looking they might get this equaliser.
Joel Willock, who hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League since February, is about to come on, and he is going to replace Alexander Isak, who was just told that he was going to be replaced, so he ran to the other side of the pitch, and he is now standing right in the middle of the centre circle. Have they changed their mind? Well, they're going to bring on Willock and Longstaff. Yellow card for Isak. Hotspur doing as I just said, which is running away to waste some time. He's coming off and Willock is coming on, and Longstaff about to come onto the pitch, and he's replacing Jacob Murphy, who runs off on this near side at a trot, and we do eventually get to see those substitutions. And it is basically just stiffening up that midfield now, isn't it? It's just 5 across the midfield. I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw Harvey Barnes left as the furthest point. Actually, probably Willock might be asked to do that job. And there's an extra body in midfield to try and just help stiffen the play.
Yeah, it's a sheer weight of numbers situation. Spurs just throwing players forward. You stop the play at any given time, there's 6 players in that front line, and you've got to make sure that you get a barrier in that midfield.
Tonali played the ball out to the near side because he thought Byrne was going to be allowed to come back on. He didn't, and it couldn't touch the ball then, and it went out of play, and Spurs have got it back again. 4 minutes for them to hold on, Newcastle. 2-1 to Tottenham, who are throwing men forward, trying to find this equaliser. Certainly, Ange Postecoglou will say once again, the entertainment factor was high. 11 goal attempts, but only 3 on target, and that's been the problem, really, Stuart. That when they've had chances, they haven't managed to convert them into clear-cut opportunities. Their expected goals figure today of 0.58, still bettered by Newcastle's 0.83, and Newcastle haven't really offered as much in the second half as they did in the first.
No, it's been very much a game of two halves in many ways. Newcastle, having conceded the early goal, looked more established and more comfortable in the first half. The half-time break didn't help them, and since then Tottenham have chased the game and looked a real danger.
2-1 with 3 minutes to play on Talksport. Later on, Manchester City versus West Ham is on Talksport 2. Tomorrow the Sunday session is live from Anfield. Liverpool, Manchester United, the fulcrum of what is a busy show tomorrow. And then on Monday night, Adrian Durham hosts the game night. Troy Deeney will join us at Molineux for Wolves against Nottingham Forest. Live from 7, we are on at 8 o'clock as far as the kickoff is concerned. And today, the fast-paced, fast action around the ground show from 2:30 will give you everything that you need with Adrian, Troy, Scott and the rest of the boys. Ball headed up field by Livramento as a long ball is searched for Tottenham to try and forage for an equaliser. Held up by Solanke, centred into midfield. Maddison then wide on to Jed Spence. Spence into the right wing position and Porro. 2 minutes to go now for Tottenham to find an equaliser. It's back to Bissouma. Remember, Newcastle have only conceded once in each of their across the last 5 Premier League games now. Their defence is difficult to breach, and Tottenham are the first team to breach it since Brentford at the beginning of December. But getting a second one is what's on Postecoglou's mind here. Son is fouled by Tonali. Free kick 20 yards from the penalty area. Maddison steals a few yards, sends it short into the middle of the Newcastle half where Jed Spence waits for it. Playing at the centre half after Dragusin was taken off at half-time. Into Kulusevski, back to Spence, back to Kulusevski again. Now it's down the right with Jed Spence, then on to Johnson, breaks to the left-hand side and Barnes up to Willock. Bissouma, as the back marker comes across and closes him down, it goes out of play, and we're into the final minute, Stuart.
Yeah, Newcastle will just be intent here on keeping possession of the ball, I think.
How many minutes do you think are going to be added on at the end of the game?
Well, for me, there should be probably, I would have said, about 4 or 5.
10.
Wow.
10.
Well, we've had certainly a few breaks just when you think you're seeing the game out, and 10 goes up.
Ball went out towards the left-hand side, collected by Barnes. Newcastle on the attack here, a rare forage forward into Longstaff inside the penalty area. Back to goal, doesn't really know where to go with it. Lewis Hall gets it back off Longstaff. Out to the left and Barnes trying to feed it through the legs of Porro, and it's cleared away by Tottenham, and Newcastle retreat to their halfway line. 10 added minutes. The Tottenham fans aren't even getting excited, Stuart. They can't really understand it. Here is Joel Linton powering forward for Newcastle. On to Bruno Guimaraes. Willock trying to get round the back of Jed Spence, who gets there just about and then commits a foul, Willock.
Yeah, as I say, there's plenty of time left in this game with 10 minutes going up on the ball, that's for sure. Have Spurs got enough oomph and enough drive to keep pushing for the game?
I'm just trying to think how many minutes realistically should this game be delayed for. Botman needs a substitution, needs to be changed. I think the afternoon's exploits have taken their toll on him. And he's 10 minutes to go. He has been out for 294 days. If he's got a touch of cramp, it's not a surprise, is it? Let's be honest.
No, to be honest with you, you're right there. But I think he's going up, going down. There's so much gamesmanship goes on in the modern day game, isn't there? You know, players going down, running the clock down, going to be substituted, goes to the far side of the pitch, all of those type of things.
Newcastle have a big game on Wednesday night. They take on Tuesday night. Is it Tuesday night against Arsenal, isn't it? Live on Talksport. Arsenal away in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. We will be there for that one. Live on Talksport Tuesday night, Wednesday night. It's the turn of Tottenham and Liverpool. That will be here. We're looking forward to that one as well. It's a big week of live football on Talksport, with us bringing you live football Thursday night from Everton's game against Peterborough in the FA Cup. Friday night, Aston Villa against West Ham. FA Cup ties all day Saturday and Sunday as well. Liverpool Accrington Saturday morning. It's going to be an interesting one. Lloyd Kelly on for Botman. And Newcastle now got 8 minutes plus whatever else is going to be added on by the referee Andy Madley. Leading by 2-1. Bruno Guimaraes is penalised for a foul on Reguilon. The ball goes back to Jed Spence. Surely in 10 minutes there will be one chance for Tottenham Hotspur to try and rescue a point from this game. And you might say, because of their second half display, Stuart, they probably deserve it now.
Well, they've certainly been strong in this second half. It's almost, they've thrown every attacking player they've got on the roster at the moment and said, we'll see how we go. And it's stretched Newcastle, but they've dealt with it so far.
Yeah, they have. And Barnes now trying to escape at the other end, sends Willock away. Willock being chased by Bissouma. He was brought down by Bissouma, but they play on because they've got the advantage. Willock has it, sends it back to Longstaff. Longstaff towards Guimaraes, and it's given away to Reguilon. Just wonder whether or not Willock there would have been better served staying down and drawing the yellow card and punctuating the play, because now Tottenham at the other end are coming forward, and the cross from Brennan Johnson is spooned away by Livramento. It was aimed towards Solanke. It's come back out to this near side, collected by Kulusevski. Pedro Porro picks it up, goes back out to the right. Kulusevski again, his left-footed ball into Solanke with the header, just over the top, tipped over by Dubravka, was it? No, goal kick, says the referee.
Well, you and I both thought he got a good touch on that, to be honest with you. He got across his man brilliantly there. Solanke flicked it over. Well,
Did he? I thought
your
he did.
guess is as good as mine.
I thought there was a little fingertip there.
What I would say there with the Willock situation, the advantage was definitely in giving Newcastle a free kick. There's no doubt about that. If you're the referee, you give advantage. Sometimes the advantage is the free kick.
Willock should have stayed down, I think. And that should have been a yellow card, really, for Bissouma when the game stopped as well. Ball sent long. Hesitancy amongst the Spurs defence allows Newcastle just to wrestle it in the middle of the park. Bruno Guimaraes, Willock, and now Barnes in behind the defence into the area. He can finish it here. Right-footed shot is saved by Austin and pushed behind and away for a corner kick to Newcastle. Big chance for Barnes to finish the whole thing off.
Yeah, it was. His first touch just wasn't good enough to get it out of his feet. It kept it under his body. That gave Porro the opportunity to get some body contact on him, and Austin made a smart save at the near post.
2-1. Austin keeps his team in the game. and keeps the game alive with 5 minutes of added time still to play on Talksport. Newcastle in front. Can they win in London for the first time this season? This has
got to be a short one, surely.
It's in towards the near post by Lewis Hall. The header down by Byrne, blocked by the defence, comes back to Willock, edge of the area. His right-footed shot takes a cannon and goes into the sky. It's not dealt with, and it's going to spin behind, and it's away for a corner.
Well, to be fair, I was astounded that Hall put the ball in the box there. They've got another opportunity on the right-hand side. Looking at the clock, 4.5 minutes left. It's all set up for a short corner, you would suspect, to run the clock down.
100 minutes of football before they play against Arsenal on Tuesday night. It's probably not what they needed, but if they get all 3 points here and win a 6th game in a row, they will be delighted. Here is Joel Linton holding the ball in the corner and then rolling it down towards the byline, then turning it back to Bruno Guimaraes, who moves in towards the edge of the box, tries to feed it through to Willock, doesn't work. Too heavy with his touch, he's giving it away. It's a goal kick away to our left.
I've got to say, when it's at this stage of the game, you take a short corner to try and run the clock down. You seem to give it back to the opposition quicker than if you just flicked it out for a throw-in.
It's probably best if you just play, isn't it, really?
Indeed.
They don't seem to be capable of holding on to it, either of these two teams. Newcastle's certainly the more controlled of the two, it must be said, but that even has deserted them on a couple of occasions towards the end of the match, as tired limbs start to feel the effects of what has been 96 minutes and 41 seconds so far of football in the Premier League. Newcastle lead by 2-1. 2 minutes and a few seconds to go as the ball goes into Solanke with a header straight at the goalkeeper.
I'll tell you what, yet another wonderful cross. That's 4 he's put in the box. One's got a goal from it, Porro. That was an outstanding cross again. I'll tell you what, he's whipped some great balls into the box.
Well, the pressure is going to build on Postecoglou, not because of the performance, but because of the run of results. Yes, they've had injuries. Yes, they've had issues with their backline. Yes, they had to make a substitution at half-time and took off Dragoshin, either by choice or because it was forced upon them. And they played four full-backs across the backline in the second half, really. They've played a rookie goalkeeper today. But this is a string of results that has been dating back to the early part of November, especially at home, where they haven't been able to win matches on their own turf in the Premier League. They won one in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, but even that wasn't without incident and scare. And they've given the ball away here, and Bruno Guimaraes is just trying to lead Newcastle away from danger. Tonali's going to pick up the pieces. When initially he had lost it, Bruno Guimaraes, there's a foul by Reguilon on Tonali, who just shows a bit of frustration by screaming in the ear of Tonali. Gets a yellow card, Reguilon, as a result of that. And it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle with now just over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Reguilon, probably the challenge, poor challenge, just caught him with his studs. And it was exactly what Tonali wanted, just to break the play up now. This might be enough to get Newcastle over the line.
Earlier this season, back on September the 1st, Newcastle beat Tottenham 2-1 at St James's Park with Harvey Barnes and Alexander Isak scoring either side of a Dan Burn own goal. Newcastle on the verge of completing a home and away double over Tottenham for the second time in 3 seasons. One or two would have shone in front of the England manager today as well. Gordon, Murphy in particular. We would have liked the look of Archie Gray going forward. Dominic Solanke scoring his goal. Here is Bruno Guimaraes out on the far side, playing it against Son, who actually has made very little impact since coming off the bench today. And it goes out for a throw into Newcastle in the 99th, now 100th minute of the contest here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's a crucial 3 points for Newcastle United, who can't stop winning right now. And they're going to go up level on points with Chelsea. They'll still be in 5th, but they'll be 4 points clear of Manchester City, who are sitting 6th. Tottenham will have 24 points. If Brentford get as much as a point today, or if Manchester United win this weekend, or West Ham do, they'll be down as low as 14th in the Premier League, quite possibly. Here is Kulusevski into Solanke, tries to turn it round the corner, should have returned it to Johnson. Instead it goes straight through to Dubravka, and now we've just got whatever the referee has deemed needs to be added on at the end of the 10 minutes that he's already added on. Eddie Howe comes out to his technical area. He's desperate to get Newcastle over the line. Here, Tottenham struggling so desperately to put results on the board. It'll be 1 win in 8 Premier League matches now for Ange Postecoglou. As Brandon Austin comes out of his goal, he misfields a high up and under, and then Basuma has to come and deal with it. Back it comes. Was there a push there by Lloyd Kelly? Crikey, that's a bit soft. Free kick for Tottenham. One last play. Ball forward by Maddison. Up to Son. Away by Joel Linton, helping out his defence. Picked up by Tonali. That extra man in midfield has made a difference for Newcastle in the closing stages here. Out to Tonali it goes. He wants to run the clock down. He plays it against Reguilon and wins the throw. It's the Newcastle fans you can hear. A load of Tottenham fans have left and they're streaming out the exits now. They know that they're just seconds away from winning this game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
And the referee just having a look at his watch again. I think it had stopped at some stage. We're on 101 minutes.
The battery might have run out soon. It's been ticking along for so long. 101 minutes and 20 seconds are played at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll get to Adrian and the gang as soon as this game finishes here. But we are significantly delayed because of the added time. The ball is in the corner. Willock still fighting for it for Newcastle, desperate to get over the line. They lead 2-1. Gumares puts pressure on Basuma. They've got to get up the pitch, Tottenham. Another glance of the watch. 101 minutes and 41 seconds. It's up to Maddison, but away by Livramento, who's been brilliant this afternoon. Tonali takes it away from Solanke, then tries to run it out of town. Across comes Livramento. Maddison goes down, but the offside flag is up anyway. It's going to be a free kick to Newcastle, and surely now, after 102 minutes and 5 seconds, the game is over. It hasn't been that delayed. The referee looks across again.
Well, we've certainly got our money's worth today, Sam. There's no doubt about that.
Yep. Unfortunately, those who pay the most money and have parted with a bit more cash than you and I here today have decided that they've seen enough and have gone.
Maybe they'll get a refund.
I doubt it. Have you met Daniel Levy? Newcastle lead by 2-1, and it's those voices, those that have made the treacherous journey down the icy motorway network for a trip to London, that are going home from the capital with 3 points for the first time this season. In the middle of the big freeze, there's no stopping Newcastle United's hot streak as Tottenham Hotspur struggle to come out of their winter hibernation. 2024 ended in a blaze of Newcastle victories, and 2025 has started in the same way. It's the start of a huge week for this football club. Newcastle United have recorded 6 straight wins. Eddie Howe and Newcastle go level on points with Chelsea, and Tottenham struggle to shake off their winter blues. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2.
Thank you very much, Sam Matterface. Yeah, Newcastle coming from behind to beat Spurs in that game, and 111 minutes played in this match. I'm still not sure where those 10 minutes came from, but there we are. It is a victory for Newcastle United. It's their 5th Premier League away win in the league. For Tottenham, it's a 5th Premier League home defeat. Chastening times for Tottenham Hotspur then, when you look at the run that they're on. 1 win in their last 8, despite putting on that fight back in the second half when they went all out attack. Newcastle really on their knees in some moments, but it is the away side, it is the Geordies who take all 3 points. Handshakes and hugs all over the pitch at the moment. Newcastle heading over to the 3,000 strong away supporters to give their thanks for that treacherous journey that they made from the north. As Sam rightly mentioned, Spurs are heading towards some of the fans, but this stadium has emptied out very quickly indeed. Apparently Thomas Tuchel was one of those who left early, and the stadium is, well, not even half full at the moment. It's only the Newcastle voices we can hear right now. Stuart Pearce, for all the fight back, for all the attacking play in that second half and all the chances, it just was not enough for Tottenham Hotspur. They've got their injuries, but even the big players they had on the pitch, 13 shots, 4 of them on target. It's just not good enough, is it?
Well, it's certainly not good enough to get anything out the game today. I think their second half performance was certainly very valiant, but it was almost a Hail Mary chance at the end of the game. Throw your attacking minded players on and see where it takes you. And to be fair, they got on the front foot, they pushed Newcastle, but Newcastle's first half performance collectively was probably good enough to get them over the line, and they were probably the better side over 90 minutes, but there wasn't much to choose between the teams over those 90 minutes.
And especially coming up to the end of that, we just saw a fan holding up an Alexander Isak scarf there. What a game, and what a performance he's had in recent weeks in the Premier League. He's scored in each of his last 7 Premier League appearances. He's now the 3rd Newcastle player to score that many goals across 7 appearances, and Spurs are now his favoured opponent. He's scored more career goals against Tottenham, that's 6, than any other side. How impressed were you with him?
Listen, he was always a threat. I don't like him when he comes outside the penalty box or goes wide to receive. I think and this is a critical statement that probably doesn't deserve. He can be a little bit scruffy with his hold-up play. Get him between the goalposts and he is absolutely electric. And as I say, he was there when it come off and drag us in. He was there to poke it over the line to get his goal today, and he was a real threat. He gallops well into the channels. He works tirelessly for the team as well, and a fit Isak leading the line gives Newcastle every opportunity of chasing down a Champions League place.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony Gordon as well with a really good performance today, and of course the equalising goal. Let's go to our man of the match then, shall we? Let's pick that one, Stuart, with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
Go on then, Stuart.
This is quite a difficult one, because I thought there was a couple of decent players in the Tottenham ranks. I thought Solanke played quite well for them, Kulusevski played quite well for them. I've got to go for a Newcastle player, and I think in their ranks they probably had 4 or 5 that had good performances, but I'm going for Livramento. I think he dealt with Werner very comfortably and saw him off. When Son come on, he dealt with him reasonably well, so I'm going to have to go with him.
Okay, that was our man of the match then from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.